Okay. Hey. Okay. I hope everybody's doing well. It's Antoine Fantoine here. We are doing our bi-monthly, every other Thursday Q&A live stream. I apologize for not being here last Thursday. Honestly, I had a lot going on personally, and I needed a break. And last night, wasn't able to do it last night either, because I took my little cuzzo out to a Hobo Johnson concert. You know, when you got a little cousin and she loves Hobo Johnson, you do the good thing, you do the right thing, and you take her down to the Hobo Johnson. You take her down to the Hobo Johnson concert, you meet a lot of cool people there, you have fun there, you enjoy the concert, you see Jeffrey Lewis open up, which is a fantastic American folk music hero. So, yeah, there you go. So I had a good time. Oliver Tree was also one of the openers there. He was great. Looking forward to getting more into his music, but had a really good time at the Hobo Johnson concert. Had a good time. Looks like the chat is already lit. Who is dying this time? Well, you know, before we get too deep into the Q&A live stream, let's first give a big RIP to the boy Joe Rogan. Rest in peace to good old Joe. You know, you had a good run. The podcast was pretty cool. People seem to enjoy it, but you know, everybody has their time. And unfortunately, this past week was just the week that Joe Rogan was meant to go. So, you know, it is what it is, but you know, we loved the guy, and Joe would want us to carry on in his memory and you know, just continue a positive mindset. He would also want us to go vegan as well. I believe it was Joe Rogan who said, once you go vegan, you'll never eat meat again. So, you know, do like a meatless Monday, or just drop the red meat in honor of Joe Rogan, in honor of the boy Joe Rogan, the most famous vegan to ever live. So, shout out to Joe Rogan. All right, let's get into it. I have a couple questions down here that I wanted to hit really quickly. Somebody said, "What's up, Melon? Do you think YBN Corday can become a legend similar to Kendrick Lamar or J. Cole? Possibly. And do I plan to do a Semino album noir review? Potentially. I think it's even better than his last record. I'll have to put that on my calendar. I haven't heard it yet, so whether or not I review it will depend on whether or not I listen to it and if it kind of hits me and sticks with me. What's my beef with Dark Side of the Moon? I don't have one. And I think there are still people that blame Bernie for Hillary losing. Any predictions for 2020? Kanye. Any thoughts on electric light orchestras out of the blue? Favorite songs? And have you considered doing a Classics Week review? I haven't considered doing a Classics Week review of that one, but but I don't know. I'll think about it, Martin. I'll think about it. And Jesus Christ Vivo, love both your channels and love your reviews, Melon. Thank you very much, Jesus Christ Vivo. I appreciate that, my man, my brother in Christian arms. As far as the 2020 elections go, honestly, while the House getting back into the Democrats' hands was okay, the fact that the Democrats don't really have a focused message to deliver to the people to get them excited to go to the polls outside of Trump is bad, I think is a pretty huge factor in the fact that they weren't able to take back the Senate. So, I mean, you know, I think unless the Democrats really get a friggin' message together, other than Nancy Pelosi stammering in front of a podium saying, we're going to lower prescription drug prices, you're going to need something a little heavier than that, something that actually excites the base, excites millennial voters, excites minority voters, excites people who are independents to come over to the other side. So, I mean, I get it that there are some people who are on the corporate side of the Democratic Party who are just kind of waiting for people to get so sick of Trump that the Democrats can basically just like lay it up into the basket, much in the same way that they did after George W. Bush, because his approval ratings were in the garbage after he got out of office. It seems like people just need to be reminded of how horrible things they can get before they're just like, yeah, well, let's just like vote for stability instead of voting for insanity. But still, winning in that way is the laziest way to win, and it doesn't help people, and it makes things worse. So, all right, but as of right now, outside of that, I have no predictions. Other than that, they're going to find some way to fuck it up. Hey, Anthony, wanted to say that I love you and would love it if you all checked out my new self-titled EP, BB Wave. It's on all streaming sites and services. Also want to know your thoughts on Alex Cameron's first record. Alex Cameron's first record is actually pretty sweet. There's a really hilarious song in there about a guy who is like a TV presenter, and like his show is getting taken away from him and stuff. Like, there's fun storytelling, but the songwriting and the production is really friggin' rough. I mean, it's a fun record, but it's no contest. The new record is leagues better. Anthony Anderson, yeah, I did answer that one. And look, I'm not here to say don't vote for Democrats or Democrats are terrible, but try to push the progressive, you know, if that's what you believe, if that's your ideology, you know, push them to a progressive side so that they actually have a message and are actually fighting for something. Do I plan to? Yeah, I did talk about that one. Hey, Anthony, I will be at this chat. I will be at this chat the whole night dropping questions. Also want to let you know that you're a huge inspiration and a huge creative force. By just recommending music, you go do thanks. Thank you, Danilo. All right, now I want to get to this one over here. Ow, 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 ow! Joseph Sparrow, what are you doing, boy? He says, what does it take for an artist of no relevancy to have an album reviewed by you? I'm proud of my work on my new album, Joseph N. Sparrow B. X. And all I want is your critique. It's a lo-fi hip-hop magnum opus. I make art for fun and therapy, and I have my head up and if I have my head up my ass, I totally get it. Look, ultimately, what I do to decide whether or not I cover an album is if I like it or if my audience is demanding that I say something about it, you know. And if I think your album is special and it's worth talking about, and there are things about your sound and about your music that I think is exciting and worth sharing and worth discussing, then I will consider, you know, talking about it and reviewing it. But, you know, I don't just critique for the sake or for the favor of the artist. It's for the audience ultimately, you know. So if I can't recommend your stuff to the audience because I don't think it's that great, then I probably will not cover it, because, I mean, I'm not just going to, you know, review something that nobody knows about just to say I don't like it. You know what I mean? I know that sounds maybe a little unfair, but I personally don't see the benefit that my audience would get out of that. You know, it's kind of self-serving for you. Again, sounds unfair, but it's I understand that you're working in your own self-interest, and I don't, you know, knock that. I don't like that. I think not that I don't dislike that, you know, because that's what we're all doing at the end of the day. So, you know, I can peep your stuff. I would say trying to grab as most attention as you can right from the outset in the live stream is probably a good way of doing so. But there are other means of contacting me as well. People send demos through the website, theneedledrop.com, all the time, as we have an email portal through there. All right, not a question, but I really think your content has really boosted in terms of quality this year. Good job, Melon. Good job. Thank you, Matthew Bianchini. Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like I'm putting out so much stuff I can't keep track of all of it, and I'm like lost in a bit of a mosh pit. And you know, but my buddy Austin, he tells me that things are looking good and that things are getting better. So, you know, I trust him because he's kind of like an outside opinion, and you know, honestly, a lot of the time it's difficult for me because I have to put out and listen to so much stuff. It's difficult for me to assess whether things are going bad or good or whatever, you know. So all I'm doing is like looking at the stats and the views at the end of the month, and they look fine, you know, but I personally want to at least know and feel like I'm making the best content that I can, or the content that you guys want me to make. You know, it does suck. And I did record a Metro Boomin review. I just haven't gotten up to posting it yet. But yeah, you know, I just haven't had the ability, I guess, to, you know, assess a lot of stuff in terms of like reception and that sort of thing, as I've just been kind of hunkering down and just continuing to make the content that I think I need to make, you know? So, yeah, you know, I'm just grinding, man. I'm fucking grinding every day. I wake up in the morning and I say, let's get this bread. That's what I say to myself because I like bread. I enjoy carbs. Ow! Guitar Maniac 004. Thank you for showcasing me burning my flannel. I'm glad it wasn't for nothing. Yes, you did get a little internet clout off of that. Sad to see a flannel go off of this earth, though. Sad to see a flannel go. What happened to your post-punk starter pack video? Can you do one? Can you do one for more metal like avant-garde or black metal? I could see my way to doing a black one. Did I do a post-punk one or was I planning on one? I know I haven't done a starter pack in a while. I need to work on another one. Next year, I am planning on trying to reorient my work schedule so that I can work on more specialty videos and list videos and stuff. So, hopefully that ends up being the case. Hang with me and I will try to get a little bit more ambitious in the coming year in 2019. Marmalade Jacket. I love your sunglasses. Thank you. I like to wear them because I'm in the dark and the screen after a while will hurt my eyes after staring at it in the dark. I have a large melon head. Where is the best place to find good ones that fit? Do you think Godspeed You Black Emperor's first tape will ever fully see the light of day? You good? I'm good. I don't know if the tape will ever see the light of day. I pray that it does. Look, guys, I promise you, if that tape ever ends up on eBay, if the Godspeed tape ever ends up on eBay, I will blow hundreds of dollars on that tape. I will blow maybe even over a couple $1,000 on that tape just to put it onto the internet for all of you to download. I would take that one for the team. I would take that one for the team. I would fucking buy that tape for a couple grand and I would put that all over the internet just for you guys. And the sunglasses, I mean, there are lots of different sunglasses sites out there and glasses sites. There's iBuyDirect, there's Zenni Optical, there is Palette, Polette.com, and all of them sell glasses, good quality, and really you just kind of got to go through the website and search by size. I always look for the large sizes. These glasses I think are like 145 millimeters across. That's usually the range in which I look for new glasses because I got a melon head too. I got your boy's got a melon head. Your boy's got a melon head over here. Benjamin Matthews, why you no review Nicholas Simrad expansions of Q new ratio? I have no idea who that is. So that's honestly why I haven't reviewed it because I can't review anything I'm not even aware of the existence of. So I mean, I'll save that recommendation. I'll try to give it a shot. I got through half of the recommendations that I've built up so far from you guys. Some of them I put out on Twitter. That Shabaka Hutchings dude from the what band is it? I'm fucking shitting the bed on this one. I gave him a very positive review this year. That UK jazz band that has that record. Your Queen is a Lizard. Blah, 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 blah. He has like a really cool side like jazz electronic project, Sons of Kemet. He's got a really cool jazz electronic side project that I put out on Twitter a little while ago. It's actually pretty awesome. Dropped an album in 2017. Wish I was aware of it at the time. But yeah, there were some pretty good recommendations so far. IU working on a new best to worst to best. If not, I'd be interested in seeing you taking on Elliott Smith's. I was starting on a new Outcast one, but then I just lost the fucking narrative of it because I just totally just got swamped with other shit. Or perhaps an ongoing series ranking the Bob Dylans. Yeah, I need to get back to another worst to best. I truly do. And an Elliott Smith one would be good. Ow! In light of the new Shoo Shoo album next February. Oh, that's good news. Did I listen to Jamie's solo album this year? I actually haven't. I've not listened to Jamie's solo album this year. I know he puts out like a lot of weird, noisy, avant-garde stuff. I don't know if that album sort of fits into that category, but no, I've not heard his solo record this year. Honestly, I didn't know he dropped one. I recently went to a Roger Waters concert. That's cool. And people were angry that he got political. It's like these people have never heard a Pink Floyd song. People knew he would be political anyway. That's kind of stupid. Not only, Roger Waters, I can give him all the credit in the world for the fact that consistently through Pink Floyd and into his new stuff, his politics have been pretty consistent. And if you can't understand where he's coming from or you don't expect it, I don't really know what's wrong with you. How's it going? I just want to know your opinion on Dragon Force as a band. Do I like any of their records? I think they're a little bit of a meme, but they are the hardest metal. They are one of the most important power metal bands and speed metal bands of all time. I mean, their music is fun. It's fast. It's crazy. But I personally don't get a lot out of it, honestly. I do appreciate their heavy metal roots and everything, but there are other groups and genres, and I mean, other groups and artists in that genre that I prefer much more. Did I ever listen to I'm in Your Mind Fuzz by King Gizzard, and what would you roughly give it out of 10? I think I give it at least a 7. It's a pretty good record. And yeah, I went back and got into it after, I had to do a review of like their later stuff, and it's a pretty cool garage psych record. XXXTentacion releases need to stop. So damn creepy to capitalize on his death, and irresponsible as fuck as well. Agree? For the most part, yeah. I mean, honestly, I think most things are worth releasing as long as you package it the right way. But I think the fashion in which this new record is being assembled or kind of presented is maybe a little disingenuous. I mean, if they kind of brought it forward as like, this is it, this is the last of it, this is the compilation, this is like all the leftover stuff that all the fans can kind of like, really obsess over or whatever. I mean, even Kurt Cobain has his, posthumous releases where you're hearing demo stuff, and people really love the guy and his music. And I would understand the incentive of him releasing, of people releasing his stuff. And who knows, maybe X would have even wanted his leftover shit put out there in some fashion had he, been aware of the fact that he was going to pass away. But, again, I'm not so much for this, hey, let's parse it all out and drop it album by album by album, even though none of it's really, truly complete. Someone was asking another question earlier about something that ended up getting lost. But listen, if I lose track of your question or the super chat disappears, I mean, you can throw the question in there again to ensure that I get to it, but I will try to go back and hit a few that I missed initially during the live stream. Ow! Why is Andre 3000 the greatest rapper ever? Why is Brandon Boyd the greatest frontman ever? Why is Johnny Marr so underrated? These are questions. I think Johnny Marr is rated appropriately. I can't really attest to Brandon Boyd being the greatest frontman ever. And Andre 3000, I think, just has incredible voice, versatility, lyricism, personality. Like, all of that shit that you look for in a great rapper is just kind of turned up to 11 with Andre. Even though he's not like somebody, I guess, who has masterminded an album all by himself that, became like a classic, again, just solo, just by himself, so on and so forth. He's still like a standout rapper. He's still a standout artist. He's still one of a kind. Hey, Melon, I saw your Polyphia review and can't thank you enough. That review brought Polyphia into the light with that solid 8. Here's another review for you. DJ Med's Lucky Boy. It's an old but gold. Okay, I'll think about it. My captain. Thank you. Have I ever heard of the hip-hop group Nomads? Please check them out. They need more clout. Would love to see you talk about their latest album, Complex. These guys have been in the game for years. Okay, Nomads. I'm not aware of them personally, so I'll have to look them up. I'll have to look them up. Some of your reviews. Oh, wait. Ow! Magic Donuts. Ow! Thank you for the 2-0. Some of your reviews make you look like an asshole. Your latest Def Heaven review, there is a reason it has so many more dislikes compared to your recent Joji review. Both scored 5 out of 10, or maybe I'm just butthurt. No, I totally own up to the fact that I think there's some reviews where I do come off pretty harsh, and I think that has to do with kind of my disappointment going into the record. Joji's review, I would say, wasn't super harsh, I guess, tonally, because maybe I wasn't sort of blown away by his previous stuff. You know what I mean? Whereas with Def Heaven, the expectations are so much higher, especially when you're talking about a record that I feel personally like really kind of fell underneath the bar. But it's I don't really think I should pull any punches. Like, if I have a strong opinion on something and I just really want to put it out there, I'm just going to put it out there. Like, I understand that you can be too harsh to the point where you're just like calling the members of the band fucking pieces of shit and they should fucking die and so on and so forth. And that's obviously like not what I'm trying to base my brand on, just personally attacking in my reviews whoever it is I'm covering or talking about. And, if I've ever done that in the past, I apologize. But yeah, sometimes my critiques and my opinions can be harsh. You know, I own up to that, but honestly, I'm aware of that when I'm saying it, and I'm fine with it. You know, even if it does turn some people off, and I get it. Some people think I'm an asshole because of it, but oftentimes, if you watch a few more reviews, or even if you meet me, you find out that I'm not just like some fucking bully or a prick or whatever. I would really be interested to see you do an Eminem worst to best, or a Jay-Z, or a Queen worst to best. A Queen would be pretty fun, and a Jay-Z one would be pretty interesting because he has some highs and lows throughout his discography. Dart Tricks. Hey, Anthony, wondering why you didn't review Shad's new album. You talked about one of his singles he dropped. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I gave the album a listen, and I just thought the whole war narrative of the record just really fell through and didn't really culminate into anything all that interesting. The record to me tonally just felt like wake up sheeple instead of like making some really interesting or I guess poignant observations about the topic that he had at hand. I mean, I get the urgency of the issue that he's talking about, but the thing is ultimately at the end of the day, like your album isn't going to do anything to stop war. And and I hate to say it like that, but it's absolutely true. And, so if you are going to dive into that topic, you have to at least try to make a record that's compelling. There was also a weird track on there where he just sounded like Eminem, not just the instrumental, but just like his flow and his delivery. It just sounded like a total like Slim Shady era Eminem ripoff. And I was like totally perplexed by that. I mean, not that you can't be influenced by Eminem. Dude has put out like tons of legendary records, or at least a couple legendary records, but yeah, there were just some things about the record that were off-putting to me. The concept didn't come together. Some of the tracks just fell flat for me. So, I'm probably going to talk about it in the next Why You Know review, but unfortunately the record didn't really live up to my expectations. Video Fortune, ow! Thank you for the 20. Hi, I've been a huge fan for years, and my group Video Fortune just dropped our first 7-track album on Spotify and stuff last month. Another later this month, just some of self-made avant rock indie. Much love from us. Thank you. Well, Video Fortune, peep them. Look them up on Spotify. Brand new 7-track record. Shouldn't take up too much time in your life. It's avant-garde on top of being indie. And I'm going to maybe take a second to try it out myself. We'll see. Despite us knowing you'll never upload new shitposts, why not revive that as the plan just so we can watch all the old videos proper again instead of a bunch of random third-party uploads? Because I don't want YouTube taking my videos and pushing them to other videos that they're going to monetize. Because if my content is up and is incentivizing people to sort of watch other content on YouTube and I'm not making any money off of it, then fuck YouTube. Fuck YouTube in their face. So yeah, you can pretty much watch all the videos via third-party platform and everything like that, but I'm not going to have my content that YouTube refuses to monetize, despite the fact that it's worthy of monetization, help them make money off of the website by using that content to shove people to other content that YouTube can make money off of. So fuck them. But again, if you want to, do it pirate style all over the YouTube platform, you're certainly free to do that. Hey, Anthony, I was wondering, since you gave the Minecraft soundtrack a 7 or 8, would I give SpongeBob's Battle for Bikini Bottom soundtrack? Yeah, that soundtrack, I've never even heard it before, but I can say because it's a SpongeBob soundtrack, it's probably a 10 out of 10, just like the new Daughters record. Can you bring back the the static from the last stream, RIP Dave Grohl? Maybe, the static during the last stream was completely unforeseen, and maybe at some other point during the show, the static will come back completely at random. So let's cross our fingers and hope the static just bursts in, totally fucks up all my shit, and I will try to do my best to keep track of maybe what's going on in the chat. So just in case there's any static or anything, but yeah, I mean, you're right, RIP Dave Grohl, but Dave Grohl is not as important as Joe Rogan, who, let's also remember to say rest in peace, Joe Rogan, the greatest vegan of all time. Which album from The Voids did I like best? Their newest one. I think the newest one is better than Tyranny. You have Virtue as a higher score, but I feel like you praised Tyranny more. Maybe I had more praise for Tyranny in that it was newer, it was fresher, it was more interesting, but I think the latest one was, more mature, more well put together, a little bit more adventurous as well, and more consistent. You know, Tyranny has its low moments, but its highs are pretty exciting, and probably felt more exciting at the time because the band's sound and everything was entirely new. You know what I mean? And maybe if I listen to both records recently back to back, maybe there's an argument to be made that some of the highs of Tyranny are higher than some of the highs of the latest record. But the newest album, I think, averaged out more better tracks consistently. Thanks for the first response. I was also wondering what your favorite Queen track is since the movie is out. Thanks. I think Fat Bottom Girls is definitely one of my favorites, or Bicycle is definitely one of my favorites as well. And Sheer Heart Attack, I think, is amazing. And of course, you know, other shit like Bohemian Rhapsody and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think those three are a couple of my favorites. And also, ow! Thank you for the 20. Ow! What's up, Sawyer Farr? I was wondering what your favorite doom metal albums are. I predict that you're a fan of Cathedral. Also, when we get in that Outcast Worst to Best Boy, I have been just kind of caught up doing other shit. Just haven't gotten to it. I apologize. But as far as like doom metal stuff for me personally, I do like some Saint Vitus. I do like some Candlemass. I love a lot of old school Black Sabbath. You know, and I love that drone doom shit, as you know, Sun and Earth and that sort of thing. And one of my favorite, Trouble. Trouble is actually one of my favorite vintage doom metal bands. They have like this really awesome fucking record with like a gnarly looking tree, like overlooking like this desolate landscape. And there are actually some legitimately catchy songs and awesome riffs on that record. Trouble. The name of the band is Trouble. That record is easily one of my favorite like old school doom records for sure, without question. Grouper released an album this year that was pretty good. A lot of relaxing piano ballads. Did I hear it? You definitely didn't review it. No, I definitely did not review it. But yeah, Grouper has come out with a couple of piano records like that, and they're not really like my favorites of hers personally. Like the songs are just too faint. The vocals are too faint. The piano playing is kind of plain and not really that inspired, in my opinion. Really, I prefer her stuff when she's getting a little bit more experimental sonically. You know, I love Alien Observer. You know, I fucking love that lo-fi ambient droney stuff that she's done in the past. And I even enjoy some of her folkier cuts that she came out with back in the day, like Dragging a Dead Deer Up a Hill. But the piano ballads, to me, they don't really do all that much, in my opinion. You know, they're just really underwhelming for me personally. But I do appreciate that she's kind of versatile. You know, she's always trying something different, I guess. But this latest era is just really not that exciting for me, I guess. Thank you, Adam. Ow! I asked you this previously, but I don't think I got a definitive answer on it. Are you familiar with the sibling pop group Echo Smith, and will you review their new album when it comes out next year? I'm not familiar with them at all, so I can't really say that I've been anticipating their record or anything, but I can at least try to look them up after this or something. Thank you. And also, yeah, I got that one. I love to be kind, Brian. Ow! Thank you for the 20. But after so many listens, I still don't see the connection between the title and the album. What do you think it means? Oh, I have no idea, honestly. I really don't. I mean, the first clue I would go to is pretty much the track where Michael Gira is using the title of the album in his lyrics and maybe try to glean some sort of meaning out of that, honestly. But, you know, here's the thing. Like, while there are a lot of Swans tracks that are pretty clear as far as like their lyrical intention and their message, when Michael goes really esoteric or cryptic or symbolic, I mean, I totally just give up any hope of like accurately interpreting whatever the hell he's saying and really just kind of read into it and just try to take away a personal, you know, interpretation. And for that particular title, I'm actually not entirely 100% sure exactly what he's getting at when he says that. So, you know, I really don't know. I mean, it is a compelling idea and lyric in the midst of a pretty brutal and strange and heavy and long album. So maybe that has something to do with it. I'm not sure. But, you know, it is a standout sort of collection of words, I guess, for a band such as Swans. How do I feel? Oh wait, Magic Donuts. How do you feel about your disappointed reviews since Death Grips basically made a mockery of fans who for some reason feel entitled to be disappointed in something they had nothing to do with? Yeah, I mean, I can be as fucking disappointed as I feel whenever I feel like being disappointed. You know, Death Grips might sort of just like jump out and be like, "Hey guys, you know, we knew you were going to be disappointed in the new LP," but honestly, like, you know, to me, that's just like a defense mechanism. You know, any artist could put that on their album. Any artist can put that kind of message on their record. Any artist can put out a new record saying, "Hey, this is going to be the one that disappoints you guys." And what's even funnier is when you put that on your album, but it doesn't really bear out as true. Like Father John Misty had some, you know, lyrical drops on his latest record where he was talking about that shit. And, you know, it was kind of the case. Whereas Death Grip's latest record, I mean, maybe it's not their most hyped album, but generally the hardcore fans pretty much enjoyed what they brought to the table. So, you know, honestly, like as an artist, you have to kind of let the audience interpret and feel whatever way they are going to feel about their music outside of, you know, making some kind of crazy interpretation where they're slandering you or something like that. But I guess you have to allow the audience the ability to interpret your work in the way that they're going to. I mean, certainly you're free to respond, but I mean, you know, fuck you if you think you're entitled to rip that away from the people who listen to what you do and basically give you the living that you know that you've attained through your music. Brad Tasted Music, Sigaros. Sigaros is severely, oh wow, that album is severely overrated. I love post-rock, but this is by far the least interesting post-rock project I have heard. It's the god of cliche post-rock boredom. Agree, disagree. I mean, I think Explosions in the Sky on like the cliche spectrum is a little bit higher than really most Sigaros records. So I wouldn't entirely disagree with what you're saying, though. I mean, I don't really find the group to be as bold as like a Godspeed or anything like that, but you know, or even like some of the better Mogwai albums, though. Mogwai has their share of really bland albums too, so you know, what are you gonna do? But honestly, I think that record is rated pretty accurately. I don't think it's that overrated. Got that one. Favorite posthumous album. What do I think has the most? What album do I think has the most disparate headphones versus speakers experience? Honestly, I have no idea how to answer that. I truly don't. But posthumous, I mean, yeah, maybe Donuts. You know, it's definitely one of the better ones. That was technically posthumous, isn't it? Pretty sure it is. Okay, come on, buddy boy, come on. Okay, have I heard of Plug Plug? Sick punk band from Chile. They started in the late noughties, but they're already pretty legendary, so on and so forth. I'm not aware of them at all, but I will have to save that reco and peep it. Am I interested in the new Foals album coming out next year? Could I sum up why Budding Ornithologist by Milo was worse than Who Told You What to Think? Yeah, you just really have to watch the reviews of both records. I think that, I can't really think of a comparison for both records off the top of my head. I really can't. And my review of that record wasn't really based too much on just comparing, you know, doing like a dick measuring contest between those two records. Though I will say that I think Who Told You What to Think was a bit kind of longer and more satisfying listen, and a more immersive listen than I think some of the more casual and stripped back tracks on his latest LP. But I think I'll have to leave it at that. What kind of water do I drink to keep your voice nice and crisp? I drink lemon water. Water with a little bit of lemon in it. And, ow, Josh, ow, thank you for the 20. Cookie, ow, thank you for the 20. What's your opinion on the new Kanye album? Hey, what's your opinion on the new Kanye album is? The snippet he showed sounds okay to me, but I just feel like the album isn't going to be all that. But what do I know? I thought the same about Ye, and it turned out great. Honestly, I have not heard the snippet, and I'm most likely not going to hear the snippet. I'm going to avoid any and all snippets until the album is out. Don't want to hear a snippet. Don't want to spoil it until I hear the whole thing. So, you know, maybe if a single comes out, a track drops, you know, a teaser song, a finished song, I will give that a shot, obviously. But I ain't listening to no snippets. Snippets always give me blue balls and make me miserable. And Joshua, thank you very much. Ow! What happened to the Portico Quartet reviews? They've been putting out great projects since I praised their self-titled album back in 2012. Thanks. Well, they did come out with that one record that I gave a pretty negative review to. I thought that album was awful. I thought the record that they came out with since then was just kind of mediocre. And also Colin. Ow! Thank you. Yeah, I just haven't really been that inspired to cover their latest stuff because I haven't found it that interesting. So that's honestly where I'm currently at right now. Though if you're looking for some kind of cutting edge fusions of jazz music and electronic music, I do highly recommend that you check out Portico Quartet. Though I personally cannot really say that many exciting things about their latest couple of records. So that's basically where I'm at. I pretty much found myself in a place recently where, in order to cover everything that I want to cover, or in order to come out with the reviews that I want to come out with, I sometimes just have to cut albums or bands that I have been covering up until that point, because it's just kind of like, I just don't really have anything to say about what you're doing at this point, because it's just sort of lost its flavor, or it's lost its zest for me. I would much rather talk about something that is coming from another artist that maybe I haven't covered before, maybe I have covered before that I think is better, or, just kind of meet this demand that my audience is throwing at me, like, oh, hey, we really want to hear your opinion on this, and I can only cover so many things, and I've pretty much come to the conclusion that just because I have covered your shit once or twice, even if those reviews have been glowing, that doesn't mean I owe you reviews for the rest of my life, because honestly, like, I'm a fan of records. I'm not a fan of bands. I'm not like some kind of super big fanboy of whatever new band is out there or whatever. There's some older groups and everything that, I came up with in my youth that obviously they hold that place in my heart. And there are some newer groups as well who, have scored very highly for me, and their music is significant to me. Maybe you could say, in a way that I am certainly a fan of them as a group. But honestly, anybody could come out with a record I don't like. It's not anything against you personally. If, an artist who comes out with a 10 out of 10, I'm sure could easily come out with a record that I don't care for at all, but it's just based on what they end up putting out. Hey, Anthony, what scores would you give all the System of a Down albums in order of release date? Hypnotize, the double album, I would not score all that high. Steel, this album is at least an 8. The debut is at least an 8. I would say that Toxicity is like a 9 or a 10. It's a great fucking record. Hopefully that answers your question properly. Captain Falcon, ow! Thank you for the 20. Thank you. Am I going to get the Smash Season Pass? Praying Phoenix, wait, Chrono Trigger. Trigger makes it in blah, 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 blah. What the hell is the Smash Season Pass? Are you telling me I gotta fucking pay to play that shit online? If that's the case, I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off. I already pre-ordered the game, so I do want to play Smash, but I'm gonna be so fucking pissed if I have to like pay some kind of bullshit to like play that game online. I'm gonna be so fucking pissed. What are my thoughts on Billie Eilish? I think she's okay. She came out with that amazing visual with the ink and everything. Look, her older stuff I think is kind of bland vocally and instrumentally. I find artists like Charlie XCX to be way more compelling, but I think she's coming out with some interesting stuff. I think she's still young and still growing as an artist, and it seems like she's kind of on a bit of a weird trip. So, she could go in a more groundbreaking direction soon. Joshua, again, thank you. Knock one man. I was stoked when you went back and re-listened to Earl's I Don't Like Shit, I Don't Go Outside. And with his new project coming out, I've wondered if you've ever heard his lesser-known singles, Solace, Wind in My Sail, Quest, so on and so forth. I have heard Solace, which I thought was pretty okay. Wind in My Sail and Quest, I can't recall off the top of my head, so I'm not exactly sure. So yeah. And, there was also that Grief single as well, so... Yeah, I have heard some of his singles and stuff that was like, loose shit, but I haven't heard those other two tracks that you're talking about there, I don't think. At least I can't recall them off the top of my head. Maybe I heard them in passing. Is it me or is Denzel Curry one of the most slept-on rappers at the moment? I don't know. This is Denzel Curry's biggest year yet, outside of the year that, he had that big Vine meme and everything. So, maybe he's not as popular as some of us who are big fans of his work would like him to be, but you can't really argue that this isn't his biggest album yet, his biggest year yet. This is his biggest year. So, you know, I mean, let the dude grow. Let the dude do what he's doing, you know, because he's on a good track. You know, it's if he's going to get like Kendrick huge, it's going to take time. Highly Suspect has a new album coming out in the next few months. Can we get a review? Probably not. I don't like Highly Suspect at all. And, you know, unless you really just want to see me trash a Highly Suspect album, I wouldn't ask. I wouldn't anticipate it. Also, what score would you give All American Trash and American Boyfriend if I did a review of them? I don't know. I haven't listened through them enough times to sort of like do a review, and every time I have listened to them, it's just been casually just to enjoy them. But generally, I think it's a good album. You know, I think it's a good album, but I don't have a score off the top of my head. What do I think of Semino's and Action Bronson's new albums? I haven't heard the Semino yet, and Jackson, thank you. Ow! And I haven't heard the Action Bronson either. I actually have not been excited to hear the Action Bronson. After just how lackluster his last record was, I thought the single with A$AP Rocky was bad. So really, truly, I don't know. I don't know when or if I'm going to hear the Action Bronson project. I really don't, because there's so many other things that other people are asking me about, and so many other things that I'm more interested in than what Action Bronson is doing at the moment. You know, again, it sounds callous, but there are other things going on now that I think are more interesting than Action Bronson's new record, honestly. You know, call me a bitch or whatever, but I don't really think he's at his creative peak at the moment. Jay says, good job for give a 10 for daughters. Did I know the rapper French band I Am? The problem of this kind of band with another language, it's pretty hard to adhere, especially for rap. Sorry for bad English. I'm not aware of them, I don't think. I can maybe try to check them out afterward. But Jay, thank you for the 20. Ow! For that delicious Canadian 20. Trey, ow! I know you haven't really liked Jaden Smith, but have I listened to other Misfits members like Harry Hudson and Teo? If not, that's fine. But Harry Hudson has a new track with Jaden Smith called Just Slide Listen. I'm not aware of them. I'm really not. But it is nice to know that Jaden is actually like, you know, using his brand to like help put other artists out and, you know, on, and that, you know, hopefully we'll be hearing more from them in the future, I guess, as he, you know, puts out new music and continues to grow. Bro, I usually spend 100 Canadian loonies on your live streams by the end of it, but I haven't yet to receive an ow wow. Please provide me with one. Also, what are the benefits of No Nut November? Ow, ow! Honestly, No Nut November, I don't participate in it. I nut every month. Every month is a nut month for me. Fuck No Nut November. I nut, man. I fucking nut. I do not avoid nutting. You know, this nutting is perfectly healthy. It's perfectly natural. I nut, bro. I nut. You know, maybe you want to feel like you're you know, doing a little bit of a dare or a challenge with your bros. So okay, you know, maybe you do a little No Nut November for the camaraderie of it. You know what I mean? But honestly, like, I nut, and that's my business. So, you know, screw that ish. Hi, Anthony. Longtime watcher, first time donation. I wanted to know when the Shrek 2 album review is coming. Not asking as a joke, because there are some decent tracks on the album. It's actually dropping tomorrow, so look for that shit tomorrow. The Shrek 2 album review, it's tomorrow. Any chance you might do a Humble Pie by Homeboy Sandman and Eden? Yeah, Homeboy, unfortunately, his review, his style, his delivery just really continues to underwhelm me. I don't really find it that interesting. It's just really monotone. It's just really lifeless. Some of the production on the EP is pretty goofy and off the wall and really colorful, but Homeboy Sandman is just not an artist that excites me, honestly. Why do I think Kings of Leon have become progressively more boring and manufactured over time? I don't know, probably because they just sold out. I'll just say sold out, because I don't have the wherewithal to explain everything that goes into the process of selling out. They just sold the hell out. Favorite Nick Cave record? One of my favorites is probably Let Love In, or Murder Ballads. Let Love In Classic Review, maybe. Also, would Rush make your top 10 prog rock bands? Top 10? Yeah, definitely there's room in the top 10 for Rush. Anthony, have I ever heard of the group Lost Boys Syndicate? I have. I've heard a few of their tracks on SoundCloud, and I just thought they were kind of generic, honestly. If you haven't, they're a hip hop group out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and I have heard they have some collaborations with Beast Coast member member soon. Yeah, I mean, I'll try those collaborations if they run across my desk, but I have heard their stuff before because somebody recommended them to me on Twitter, and I wasn't that nutty about it. Merc. Ow! On jazz, you don't really seem to delve into a lot of jazz records. I know I don't. I apologize. Bar the odd BBNG release, etc. Do I think this is because your target demographic isn't into the genre? What are your top 3 jazz records of all time? Some of my top 3s are probably like Inflated Tear. Bitches Brew is another one. Trying to think of another one. I mean, I know it's not one of their best, but I do love the Bags and Train collaborative between Milt Jackson and Coltrane. It is a personal favorite of mine because Coltrane's playing on that is great, and I do love Jazz Vibraphone. Oh, and Monk's music is amazing. That's probably another one of my favorites. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't get that many requests for jazz records, and it is tough for me to come out and review a jazz record if I'm not like totally in the tank for it. I was recently listening to the new Micaiah McCraven jazz record. I can't remember the title of it off of my head, but it's a really like huge 90-minute jazz fusion experience. But a lot of the jams on it were just like really one-dimensional and bland, and it's like, okay, it's like almost hearing like the same groove over and over and over. And I think if he was going to make this record good, he really could have cut it down to something other than 90 minutes. But I mean, I do peruse quite a few jazz records, new jazz records, but very, very rarely, does one of them just like totally stick out and blow me away. Just kind of is what it is, I guess. Melon, about 2 years ago, you introduced me to Vector, who became one of my favorite bands of all time. Thank you. May you please review Rivers of... Yeah, that's actually still on my calendar. So I just haven't had the time to sort of listen through to it all the way, but I am still deeply considering a review of that record. My latest... sorry about that, Ignacio, but I'll give you an ow, ow! My latest super disappeared. What do I think of the Tiny Desk format? I find myself listening to them a lot lately. I think it's a pretty fun format. I think it's a good format. It's a chill format. I know you, I think I remember your question earlier, and you said you listened to it more than the originals or something. I personally have not found myself in that position. I prefer just kind of listening to the studio stuff. I mean, if the studio stuff is good, I do like hearing production. I do like hearing mixes. I do like hearing, the way the producer or however, the album was produced was kind of assembled. That to me is very intriguing. That to me is very interesting, more interesting than just kind of like the, the live chill studio sesh and that sort of thing. But the Tiny Desk format is fun. It's refreshing, and it's a cool way to see artists like in a totally different light and in a totally different format and I guess context. One of my favorite Tiny Desks is actually T-Pain's. It's actually really great. It's a really great Tiny Desk. Steven, ow! Has there ever been an artist live performance that changed your view on their work or an album? Happened to me when I saw Blood Orange. Didn't really care for Negro Swan before. Now it is one of my favorite albums of the year. I mean, I actually just saw Hobo Johnson last night, and I was a little on the fence with a lot of what Hobo Johnson was doing, but in person, it was actually really good. I enjoyed it quite a bit in person. So, am I going to call myself a Hobo Johnson fan now? But if I go back and listen to his last album with a lot of those performances in my head, it's probably going to... inform my opinion of what he's done a little bit more. Live shows are like any other thing. They can influence your opinion of a record easily. Why you want to do a Pink Flag classic review? I may. I am tempted because my original classic review of that album got erased because there were song clips in it. Missed my last question. I apologize, Matt. I'll give you an ow, but here it is. Do you listen to instrumental albums? Would you give a review of one? Are there any favorites? I mean, the new Polyphia record, I just reviewed that. That's pretty much an instrumental record outside of one song. And yeah, I mean, I listen to instrumental music. I don't mind instrumental music. It can be pretty great. I don't have anything personally against instrumental music. I mean, I guess I just don't review a whole lot of it, as I rarely run across an instrumental record that I feel like I need to talk about, but I don't inherently have anything against instrumental music. DMD, ow! What would have brought Helplessness Blues to a 10? Honestly, I haven't heard the record in a while. So I can't exactly say, but I know there's at least 1 or 2 tracks on that record that I thought were just okay in comparison to a great deal of the LP. So that's really probably where a lot of that comes from. P.S. Earlier you mentioned an artist getting a 10 and a bad review, and you gave Cudi a 10 and a 0. Thanks for the content. Yes, that is exactly true. But can it happen in the reverse order? And I gave Cudi a 10, but he was also collaborating with Kanye in that context. Would I give Cudi a 10 solo? I don't know. It would have to be a great record. Would I ever review a KSI album? KSI, what the fuck are you doing in here? Number 1. Number 2, what are you doing here dropping 100 when I know you could drop 500 in here, bro? Dude, what are you challenging me to a boxing match, dude? I can get cut up like Jake Paul. I can get cut up. I could drop the weight, dude. I could drop the weight. Look, I mean, don't get upset about the fact I'm 6'1". I'll go easy on you, bro. I'll go. Where's the boxing match for me, bro? Where's the boxing match for me? Huh? Where's my boxing match? I want a celebrity boxing match too, bro. I'm giving your next record a 10 regardless, dude, because here it is on the live stream right here. You guys ask me all the time, hey, do any artists ever pay you to do album reviews? Here it is right here. Here's an artist. He has a new record coming, I'm sure. And he's paying me to do an album review. Now I'm going to review his album, and I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. So you guys know that Anthony Fantano is a filthy whore who will do anything for money. Top 10 Nardwuar interviews. Yours doesn't count. Fuck you, mine counts. Mine fucking counts. Top 5, a couple, mine, number 1. The Macklemore one is actually really funny in the way that he kind of puts him in a really silly, awkward situation. I thought the Lil Yachty one was pretty hilarious as well. Snoop Dogg one is a classic where Snoop Dogg is taking his shit. And those are the ones that stick out to me the most at the moment. But yeah, Nardwuar's got a lot of classics in the vault. Fucking Nardwuar forever, bro. Nardwuar forever. Thanks for nutting. No problem, dude. I think if you didn't, it would make your reviews even more harsh, bro. Honestly, like my sex drive, if I'm not getting into it, I'm on fucking edge, man. You guys would not want to see No Nut Anthony. You really wouldn't. You think I'm a fucking boring, hard ass, harsh review, nasty review dickhead now, but like with no nuts whatsoever, I would go fucking insane. I'd be shitting all over everything. I would attack every fucking record. Everything would get a 0. So, please, like, give me this one thing, Also, who do I have beef with at the offices of Hot Ones that I haven't been on yet? I don't know. You guys have to ask Sean. You guys have to ask them. Harass Hot Ones and tell them that you really want me on. A Mystery Diner. My last donation was missed. I apologize. Ow! I'll give you that. But are there any albums that came out before you started your channel that you'd give a 10 to, or just any 10s that you never reviewed? I can't say there are any 10s that I didn't review while I was, but I mean, listen, here's the thing. I don't know what I'm not hearing. You know what I mean? Of course, there were albums that I would give a 10 back before, I was reviewing, some of which I've given classic reviews to, like Godspeed, You Black Emperors, Lift Your Skinny Fists, and that sort of thing. I would probably say like Sun's Black One might be a 10 too. That is like such an amazing record. I've already said Mad Villainy. I think that's very much a 10. So, I mean, obviously there are 10s that, came out before I started reviewing everything. But, are there some other records that might fit that same score that have dropped while I was reviewing? It does keep me awake at night. That there's like some amazing album that I just haven't heard and it's under my nose, and I would freak out about it if I heard it, but I just don't know where it is, or they don't know where I am, or it's just lost in a fucking pile of everything. Because honestly, like, you guys don't know, from my perspective, just like stuff is getting thrown at me from every angle, and it's difficult to like parse it all out sometimes and give the adequate amount of attention or give the same amount of attention to everything, because I'm just like trying to process all of it, So it does give me like anxiety in a way that like, man, I might be missing the best album or something. And I hope I'm not. I try to do my best to listen to as much as possible and preview and try as much as possible. There are a lot more albums that you guys don't know that I do listen to, other than the ones that you see me review. I'm trying new albums all the time. But I'm going to leave it at that, leave that answer at that. Ow! Thanks for the 2-0. Lil B and Burial are the most influential artists of the past decade, would I agree? Untrue Classic Review. I would say they're two of the most, for certain. I mean, especially Lil B. And I would get down with an Untrue Classic Review. Eddie. Hey, Anthony, you tweeted out my song, and I wanted to thank you. I got a new song and video out on my channel, and I was wondering what you thought about it. Okay, I can, let me see. Go to channel. I will give that a try later, and if I dig it, I'll tweet it. Have a good one, man. Hey, Anthony, did I listen to the West Side Gun album Supreme? Oh, shit. Your shit's already playing, bro. Supreme Blientel. Yes, Bilentel. Sorry. Did you switch those letters or did I? Anyway, if so, what did I think? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool lo-fi hip-hop record. It has its moments, but I just think his rap style is really dodgy, and it's just difficult to, I guess, kind of pull anything all that compelling out of the muck that he's created on that record. It certainly has a very unique and dirty vibe, but I personally didn't really get anything out of it outside of the surface level gritty aesthetic of it. I mean, it's cool for kind of a lo-fi-ish project. It's cool for kind of an abstract hip hop project, but I don't really find it to be as exciting as some people do. There's some high profile features. Yeah, I saw him, man. I saw him and I heard him. And unfortunately, it's just a record that's not really resonating with me. I've actually gone back to it 4 different times because people keep recommending it to me. And I'm just like, what the fuck am I missing? But it's really just not doing it for me, unfortunately. And it kind of sucks to hear like, oh, this seems like a really cool underground album that a lot of, people who are into alternative shit are really into, but it just was not doing anything for me. Red Cal, ow! Thank you for the 20, dude. Yes. Hey, Anthony, can you give me rapid fire thoughts on these 3 Square Pusher albums? Selection 16, not one of his best. Really not one of his best. It does have some good tracks on it. Go Plastic is amazing, and Ultra Visitor is underrated. So yeah, Go Plastic I would say is definitely is the best of those 3. And Ultra Visitor does not get as much attention as it should. Have I listened to Villager's new album, The Art of Pretending to Swim, at all? I have not. I've actually not listened to a Villager's record in a while, as I haven't really been all that excited about the past material. I've given it some positive and somewhat positive reviews, but I've just kind of lost the Villagers narrative at this point. I've just been kind of like buried in other things. I thought it was a nice change of pace for him. Really enjoyed it. If I get a chance, I will try to devote a second to giving it a try and see if it ends up, surprising me or something. And, hey, any artist can sort of like bounce back for me. I was actually just listening to the new Jeffrey Lewis record. It's like a covers album that just dropped this year. And it's actually much better than a lot of what he's been putting out for the past few years. I'm thinking about reviewing it, despite the fact that I haven't covered his stuff in a while, because I think some of his latest music has just been okay. So, it is worthy to check in every once in a while. And having said all that, I probably should try to devote some time to the new Action Bronson record and sort of see if there's hold on, anything really interesting going on with it. But I don't know. At this point, I feel like I'm a little bit over it, and there are other things going on currently that I think are a little more compelling. Daughter's getting a well-deserved 10. Now we just need Blood Brothers to reunite and drop a classic as well. Dude, I fucking agree. Fucking Crimes is an amazing record. Totally underrated record. More people need to know that record. How sick would it be if Caro Caro Bonito and Death Grips did a collab? Will it happen? Am I really reviewing Shrek? No, I'm not really reviewing Shrek. And honestly, I don't know if I want a Caro Caro Bonito collab. I don't know if I really do. I really don't think I do. I don't even know if Caro Caro Bonito would be into that. How come I've never reviewed a Dayjack or Internet James album? I don't think I've heard an album from either of those people all the way through. So maybe I've heard a song from Internet James. I don't even think I'm aware of them. So that's probably why I haven't covered them. I'll save that, and I'll see if I get some time to give it a shot, try it out, and see what's up. But I haven't covered it because I don't know it. Do I think one day you'll do a classics week on the Black Parade? We'll see. Be patient. We'll see. My other super chat got lost. I apologize. I'm wondering if you've heard any artists. Earl has been hanging out with Mike. Yes, I have. He's got a pretty decent Bandcamp 6 press. I have not Standing on the Corner. No. Thanks, Melon. I love you. I don't know those other two, but I have heard some of Mike's stuff before, and he does have some promise. I'll try to give the other two a shot if you're telling me they're good. Dear Melon, my last question, have I ever cringed while listening to a Cupcake lyric, and which one was it? No, personally, I just find her lyrics really raunchy and funny. Have I gotten a boner from it? I think I have gotten a boner from a Cupcake lyric or two, be honest. But I don't know which one off the top of my head. I've probably gotten a boner from a Cupcake lyric, but probably not cringed, as I just find her stuff really really funny. She does drop some like bad bars every once in a while, but I don't think I've like overtly like cringed from a Cupcake song. I deserve an ow ow anyway. Yes, you do, Aubrey. Ow. And thoughts on Joe Strummer and the Clash. I mean, the Clash are classic. London Calling is a fucking 10 out of fucking 10. We need a Kate Bush worst to best, even though of course she is a god. I guess Lionheart wasn't that great. I mean, yeah, that one might be on the lower end of things, but she's definitely worth considering for worst to best. Hey, you didn't really check out or mention piano-heavy music. There is this heavily modulated instrumental solo on Bandcamp called Sun Poisoning. Biggest gripe is the quality of the recording. Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't review a ton of piano-centric music, but I promise you it's not anything I'm actively doing. I'm not like trying to avoid the piano, you know what I mean? So, if the piano runs across me, it does, I guess. I'm not seeking out the piano actively, but I guess there's not a whole lot of popular music out there that has, literal pianos on it. Of course, like synths and patches and that sort of thing. But the piano's a little inconvenient. You know what I mean? You got to go to where the piano is. You don't lug the piano around everywhere. On your birthday, my country elected a fascist. On the next post, I will be doing an MPB Brazilian rock bossa nova, so people know that the artists here don't agree with fascists and have never agreed. Okay, that's good. Drop those recommendations, my bruh. Your favorite Neurosis album, and why is it The Eye of Every Storm? What is my favorite Neurosis album? Let me see. I think I'd probably give it to, I do like Souls at Zero, but some of that like 90s shit is just like not as heavy as I would like it to be. I think I prefer Silver or Times of Grace, to be perfectly honest. Even as classic as some of their older stuff is. Yeah, I just kind of prefer that heavier era in the 2000s of their shit. But yeah, I don't think I could really just like say it's Eye of Every Storm, honestly. I mean, that's a basic bitch opinion, but in your 2009 intro video, you would sleep. Wait. In your 2009 intro video, you would sleep people like Iggy Pop, Frank Zappa, and Chuck D. Can I explain what makes them so attractive to you and make the melon heads happy? Oh, Iggy Pop, he's so skin tight, And Chuck D, he's woke as fuck. You know what I mean? So it's, that's a turn on. And Frank Zappa, he's just got a very, smarmy, badass attitude, real turn on. Am I going to review the new Metro Boomin album? I've already recorded the review. Hopefully it's going to go up tomorrow. By the way, shout out to the Ridge Wallets. Shout out to Ridge Wallets, bro, for always supporting your melon. I know that's become a little bit of a meme with you guys, but no joke. They do pay me to sponsor them, and it does obviously help the channel. It does help me. So I got to shout those guys out. And I actually like their product. I actually like their product quite a bit. I use it myself. I enjoy it. ridgewallet.com/Fantano. Use promo code Fantano and get 10% off that shit. So shout out to Ridge Wallets. Anthony, I saw Daughters the day after you gave a 10 in Philly. I noticed they played New York City that weekend. Why didn't you go? I actually already had plans that weekend with my loved ones. And by the time I gave the record a 10, then after that, I was aware of their, tour dates. And then, I was like, oh shit, now I can't go. Also met John Sudano, at the Daughter Show. That's amazing. John, he's a great dude. That sounds good. But I was in talks with somebody connected to the band over Instagram, talking about them potentially doing maybe a Connecticut show, because they do live on the East Coast. Potentially them doing like a Connecticut show brought over by a friend of mine who's a booking agent, and it could be like a co-promo sort of thing. So if you're in CT and you're interested in seeing Daughters, or if you live in sort of the New England area, watch for me to announce that. Come the fuck up, dude, and see a good ass show. Hey, Anthony, Spencer here again. Please, I beg of you, Tree Intros 2019. I am definitely considering Tree Intros 2019. Spencer, ow! Watch me, bitch. You heard the new Anderson .Paak joint. I have not heard the new Anderson .Paak joint yet, but I will be reviewing his new record when it drops. And if he does have a new track out, I will most likely talk about it in the next weekly track roundup. But I am pretty excited for the record. I think it's going to be one of the best of the year. The Needle Drop. Why did you hate Odd Future so much, even though they are broken now? You didn't like most of them. I loved most of their projects. Yeah, I mean, you'd really have to just like watch the reviews to know why I didn't like certain projects or whatever at that time. But generally, at the time, I don't really think Odd Future lived up to the hype. I think a lot of them weren't really all that talented. I think a lot of the records were just badly produced, badly wrapped. I get that it was a little rough and it was a little punk and in a way, but honestly, I just found it to be really obnoxious. I do attribute to them, a lot of influence and a lot of ripples going on in hip hop right now, and I love the direction Tyler is going in currently, and I'm really excited for the new Earl record. But generally, when Odd Future was at their biggest in terms of popularity and everything, I just don't really think they lived up to the hype and brought that much substance. It was really just kind of like overly edgy and boring. Hey, Melon, a couple weeks ago, Jake asks, I asked you to review the new Machine Girl, but instead of responding, you retweeted my art, which I appreciate a lot, but I was wondering what you thought of it. Appreciate you. Yeah, I gave the album a listen, and so much of the production on that record just seems like a blatant Death Grips ripoff, and I'm not exactly sure why people aren't pointing that out. I mean, I guess it doesn't sound exactly like Death Grips, given that the vocals are different, and there are some tracks on there where he goes in a bit more of a dancey direction and everything, but there are literally beats all over that record that just sound like he's ripping off Flatlander, and then working like some drum fills and bits that are reminiscent of like Zach Hill drum bits. I mean, I understand Death Grips is a great group and you might want to bring some of their influence into your work, but like to the degree that he's doing it with this album, it just seems like a little concerning because it's like aesthetic plagiarism in a way, and kind of distracting because there are literally tracks on his new record that sound like they could have come off of the Steroids EP or Jenny Death or something like that. So yeah, to me the high level of influence on that record was a little distracting. Heather, ow! Thank you. I just wanted to say thanks for the feminine music recommendations you gave me a few streams ago. Sophie is great, and so are the Slits. Shout out to Clay B. I swear I can read. Bietka, Rutka. In the live chat, their recommendations were great too. Cool. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Heather. Anthony Nuttano. Would I consider an ELL best to worst? Honestly, like I have not heard enough of their records to do a best to worst. So I mean, as of right now, I'm not going to consider that at all. Nothing against them personally, as Jeff Lynne is cool and they do have a lot of cool songs and a lot of cool records, but I do not know their discography enough to even like embark on that, honestly. And there are other artists that I would much rather, much earlier consider than them, But Paul, I'm glad you like them. I'm glad they're in your wheelhouse. Honestly, you're probably more better suited for it than I am. So I mean, you obviously have a YouTube channel. Record and write that shit and drop it. Did I watch Open Mike Eagle's fight? I saw some clips of it. I saw some clips of his fight. It was pretty funny. What rappers would I pay to see in a fight? Well, I mean, it was like a fake wrestling match. So, I mean, it wasn't a fight. But honestly, I don't want to see any rappers fight. I really, truly don't. Also, the thing about West Side Gun is how authentic he is and sounds. Griselda, because Benny and Bro Conway bring the bars. I feel like I got totally lost in that jumble of commas and capitalized words. But I guess I don't deny that he sounds authentic. I mean, he definitely sounds real. I don't care for how high pitched and I guess a little nasally his voice is, but it doesn't sound like a put on, So I don't deny the guy's authenticity. I just don't really care for the sound or the song structures all that much, I guess. How do I rate foreign language albums compared to others? Do you focus more on the production rather than the lyrical content? Honestly, like if you watch my reviews, there are reviews and tracks that I do focus a little bit more on the lyrical content than others. I would say maybe the new Poppy review that I did is an example of that, because I did talk about the topics of a lot of songs on that record. However, there are songs and albums, sometimes even hip-hop records, where I don't really get into the lyrical content that much because maybe the lyrics aren't really the focal point or the major appeal of the record. Honestly, and let's just use the new Rosalia record as an example. Yeah, I mean, that album is totally in Spanish. I'm not a native Spanish speaker. And there are a lot of tracks lyrically that just obviously go over my head because I'm not really that in depth with speaking and interpreting Spanish. However, that still doesn't change the fact that the hooks are super catchy. The production is wonderful, and Rosalia's voice is great. It doesn't really matter to me all that much whether or not she's singing in a language I understand or not, because her singing is so fantastic. Great singing transcends whatever language you're singing in. It doesn't matter if Rosalia is fucking singing in Russian. Like, her voice is fantastic. It can get tough, though, when you're talking about stuff like, I don't know, if somebody was trying to sell me on a Romanian hip-hop album, because while, the production might be great, if the vocals are kind of taking a focal point and me understanding the lyrics is kind of key to enjoying the album, it can be difficult. So, I think my enjoyment of such a record really hinges on whether or not the vocals or the lyrics are key to the appeal of the record, But if they're not the most important thing and I can enjoy the melodies or the instrumentation or the hooks a little bit more than what the lyrics are doing, then sure, why not? And that's the case for some Latin jazz records I enjoy and the like. So, it's not even like Rosalia is an anomaly. One last boner-related question, because I am a perv and it's fascinating. Recommendations for other boner-inducing female rappers. Thanks for making us horny. I'm trying to think of... I mean, I think Princess Vitara is actually a pretty boner-inducing rapper. Princess Vitara, I believe she's from Nigeria, and she has a lot of great boner-inducing songs out there. So Princess Vitara, look her up. I've retweeted quite a bit of her stuff. Dan Khan, has it ever happened to you that you can't enjoy a studio version of a song because the live version is just so good? It happened to me with almost the entire discography of LCD Sound System. I mean, there are a lot of Talking Head songs that I prefer the live recordings of them than the studio recordings, but I wouldn't say at this point it's preventing me from enjoying the studio recordings for what they are, But there are certainly live recordings that I do prefer over the studio, There certainly are. Hey, Melon, could you say... Hey, my boy Sam Geese. Also, who is my favorite lyricist or lyric? I think Andre 3000 is one of my favorites. John Darnielle is one of my favorites. Elliott Smith is a great one as well. Off the top of my head, Tom Waits, Nick Cave, in my opinion, are also really amazing lyricists. Bob Dylan, I think, is a really great lyricist, just off the top of my head. Nathaniel, thank you. Nathaniel, thank you twice. Ow! Great, I forgot to type the message. When will you review the Street Sex album, Kicking Mule? Yeah, I mean, it sort of it fell to the wayside for me personally because I didn't really end up enjoying the record all that much. However, I have put it back onto my calendar. If I get to it, I get to it. If I don't, it'll probably end up in a Why You Know review. Honestly, I don't really care for the new vocal direction all that much, even though they've been teasing to it a little bit for a while, and I did enjoy it a bit on that recent EP that they put out. On the new record, I feel like it's almost led to like a loss of identity in a way, and I don't really actually care for the performance of the vocals either. I think the performance is kind of not enjoyable. But that's just me. And you've already heard the album, so you kind of know what I'm talking about as far as like the change that the album has or the band has sort of undergone. And it just isn't really working for me personally. And I'll give it a little bit more of a listen, and I guess we'll see whether or not it, ends up appealing to me a little bit more when I revisit it. Ever considered going on Joe Rogan? I love you, dude. Well, I mean, unfortunately, Joe Rogan passed away, man. I don't know if you heard, but Joe Rogan passed away. I mean, which is kind of shocking because usually vegans tend to live longer. They say that vegans live longer than meat eaters, but Joe Rogan, vegan, devout vegan, passed away just recently. So, I mean, rest in peace to our boy Joe. It's a shame. Seemed like the dude was full of life and full of love and had a lot of years left in him. But, when the Lord says it's your time, it's just your time, man. So, hey, Melon, wondering why you were accusing Sam Hyde of squeezing money out of his fan base. Big fan of both of you guys. I'm not going to get into that because, I'm just not going to. Hey, Melon, I was wondering what your thoughts on My Chemical Romance are. I've heard you mention them a couple of times here and there in videos, and would you give Black Parade a classic rating? Yeah, I mean, I probably would consider doing a classic review of Black Parade. But I guess that'll happen when it ends up happening. Will I ever do an all-time favorite album list? Also, thoughts on Teenage Fan Club. Teenage Fan Club, I haven't really gotten into that deeply, and I'm not sure if I'll do a favorite albums list at this time. I think I'm still, I'll do a favorite albums list of all time when I'm ready to fucking give up on life and give up on reviewing and just close the chapter on all this shit. But as of right now, I'm still listening to albums. I still think I'm discovering my favorite albums of all time. When I'm old, when I'm close to dying, and I don't give a fuck anymore, and for whatever reason, I've become so cynical and bitter that I hate all new music, I will do a best albums of all time. Hello, Anthony. I'm pretty new here. I used to listen to classical and want to get into modern music. What's the essential stuff to hear? I've listened to some Hendrix, Pink Floyd, Radiohead. I would go on Rate Your Music and just take some basic surface level recommendations off the major charts over there. But, Anthony@theneedledrop.com, email me because honestly, I don't know fucking shit about classical. And if that's all you're listening to, then maybe you can educate me on that shit because when it comes to classical, I'm a fucking moron. So, also, have I seen the new Queen movie? I have not. I've not seen the new Queen movie. Not sure if I'm planning on seeing the new Queen movie. The number of movies I see every year, you could probably just count on one hand. And the Queen movie is, I don't know if it's enough to sort of get me out of my friggin' house and into the movie theater. They're my favorite band and I have very mixed feelings about it. Yeah, I mean, biopics of bands and artists usually do lead to more mixed feelings than not, especially, I mean, I've been reading a lot of stuff about the movie not being that accurate and so on and so forth. So honestly, it's not a record. It's not a movie I'm excited to see. Hi, Melon Man. I just wanted to thank you for the good Fetty review. Also, I have a headache, so could you kiss it better real quick? Yeah, sure. Put your head up to the speaker. Put your head up to the speaker with your headache. Wherever you can, whatever you're hearing me through, make sure your forehead is on it. Okay? All right, here we go. I hope your head is there. Bye-bye, headache. Is there anyone that actually likes this new Muse album? I'm sure there's some people out there that like it. I'm going to give it a try. I'm curious about it. Also, can we expect that new Truchesta to drop this year? This year is almost over, so that new Truchesta is probably not dropping. Hey, Democrat House Tano, are there albums in the past year you would rate higher or lower now? I have to imagine there are albums that have changed your opinion. I think I would rate the new JPEG Mafia higher if I had a chance to do it all over again. I'd rate the JPEG Mafia higher. Here are the recommendations from Danilo. Hit up these badass Brazilian artists. Ow, ow, ow. Shout out to Brazil. Hopefully you guys bounce back from this BS and it doesn't go too crazy down there. Oh, more recommendations. Triple. Ow, 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 ow. More amazing recommendations. Really, Danilo is spoiling you guys. You can see this shit. Check out these artists. Screenshot this shit. You want to try out some good Brazilian music? Screenshot this shit. Give it a screenshot. Give it a screenshot. Get edumacated. Get edumacated on that Brazilian magic. Okay, get edumacated. The Metro review is on the way. Don't get impatient. The Metro review is on the way. All right, next, have I listened to Say Anything? I have. They were actually pretty popular when I was way younger, though I've not really been all that into their stuff. Newer pop punk music, or sort of their kind of brand of pop music never really spoke to me all that much. But I am aware of them. I have heard their stuff. It's just not kind of one of my favorites. Josh, ow! Thank you for the 2.5, bitch. Hey, Melon, gotta leave the stream soon. Sent you some music from my solo project, Asian Sign Language, earlier this week on the website. Just finished a new demo. I'd love to hook you up with it. You were the first to. Hey, hit me with a stream that I can hear. Anthony@theneedledrop.com. What did I think of Buckethead and what did you think of Buckethead and band like Turbo Wolf and Big Black? And have you try my suggestion from the Live Japan band? Finally, I don't think I have. But Big Black, I think, is pretty fantastic. I own a couple of Big Black records. Atomic is great. Songs About Fucking is fantastic. I never got into Turbo Wolf. Buckethead does have some great shit, but he's really very much like a quantity over quality type of guy. But, I would kill to see him live, like in his prime, for sure. Can I stop being a coward and just debate 1791L already? Look, 1791L is a disingenuous pussy because he's a super fan of mine, but he doesn't want to admit that he's a super fan. And if you really just wanted to talk to me about some political shit and just hash shit out, he could easily message me and just contact me in some kind of personal forum and admit that he fucking is in love with me. But instead, he wants to pretend he's some kind of intellectual dark web moron and just fucking hang in the shadows and just snipe at me from his social media account and goat me into a debate so he can get clout off of talking to me. And fuck that. I'm not giving that loser the time of day. So fuck him, fuck his YouTube channel, fuck his ugly face, and fuck his stupid ass political opinions. So, that's my thoughts on debating 1791L. So look, again, if he really wants to get on the level and talk with me and have a genuine conversation, there are ways of reaching out to me. And, in the midst of that, he can admit that he's a super fan and admit that he just wants to talk to me and admit that he just wants it for the clout. And, maybe we can have a political conversation and get to the heart of some issues and maybe really decide whether or not we really want to have a public conversation about this and if we think there would be any real benefit to doing it, out in the open. But I'm not just going to let the dude just fucking clout grab off of my fucking shit just for his own benefit. Fuck that dude. Top 5 Prince albums. Definitely 1999. Definitely Purple Rain. I would definitely throw... What other one would I throw in there off the top of my head? Sign of the Times. I mean, that's at least my top 3. Samuel Cook. Love you. Thank you, bro. Have you listened to the new Young Lean album? I have listened to a little bit of the mixtape. I thought it was kind of awkward, though. Not sure if I'm going to end up covering it formally. Got that one. Hilarious. You ever thought of doing a West Coast hip-hop starter pack? Could be interesting. I really love your Southern one. Yeah, a West Coast one could be necessary. Devo Worst to Best. Also, I was really looking forward to the review of The Garden's latest record. Any more thoughts on it so I can sleep at night? Yeah, I just Didn't really like it. I have no thoughts on it as I haven't heard it in months. You know, whatever thoughts I had would have been fresh back then. But I thought a lot of the issues that I had with the last record also carried over onto the new record, really. So I thought a lot of the same problems I had just kind of carried over. Who the hell is talking to me? Austin. Oh no, audio. Oh, fuck. Fuck it. Sorry. All right, what do I think of Buckethead and the band like Turbo? Yeah, I did that one. Top 5 Prince albums. Samuel Cook, did that one. I ever thought of, yeah, I did that. Hey Melon, what do I do when I run out of ideas to write new music, especially lyrics? Help? I don't know, man. I really have no fucking idea. You just run out of lyric ideas. Read some poetry. Listen to some other music. Listen to some speeches. I really have no idea. Just take in words, you know? All right, next, top 5 Tom Waits albums. Definitely Rain Dogs, Bone Machine. This is not a top 5. This is random shit. Bone Machine, Mule Variations, Frank's Wild Years is probably up there as well, and Blood Money. Am I going to listen to the new Little Peep album? I am, and I guess I am planning a review sort of at this point, so I suppose we'll see. Fortune-telling crystal ball Melon. Do I see a future in emo/rock influences in trap to become more widespread? Yes, I do. Is there a future for such a genre to explode with a plethora of compelling artists? Yes, I do. However, I think a lot of people are underrating Hobo Johnson's potential in this respect, because I saw that dude play live last night. That dude is emo as fuck. And the people who were watching him were emo as fuck too. But I do think a fusion of hip-hop and more emotional lyrics and sort of introspective lyrics, it's going to be the new wave, and it's going to come. Favorite Radiohead song off In Rainbows? Definitely Nude. Definitely Nude. Melon, later this month, I will be dropping my first real video, a video about one of Brazil's weirdest albums. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Dude, subscribe to this motherfucker. If this dude is going to cover interesting Brazilian music, this is a channel you need to watch. Because honestly, like, this is what I have been fucking praying to fucking Jesus Christ for my entire life. Well, really since I started the channel. That people take my format and they just like apply it to their own shit. Like, hey, what do you know about that I don't know about? Are you from Brazil and you knew everything about the music scene down in Brazil? Start a fucking channel and make videos about Brazilian music. Don't just fucking watch me talk about fucking Drake all day. You know, make your own shit about the music scene that you know about and you're a part of. Make a Brazilian, make a Russian, make a, you know, all that other shit that you're a part of music review channel and spread the word about some other stuff that I don't even know and I'm never going to know. Hey, Anthony, just curious, what are your thoughts on Matt Duncan? Not really familiar with the guy, so I can't really say, at least I don't think. Hey, Melon, I've always felt that The Wall is better than Dark Side of the Moon. What do I think? I agree. Zach Hill here, just done whacking it to your lovely face. Appreciate that. You heard of Coulter Wall? I haven't. Spectrum Pulse got me into him. I'm sure he's probably a dope country artist potentially because he does have good taste in country. Fuck. Have I ever gotten into the other 90s Memphis rap other than 3 6 Mafia that influenced mainly Raider Clan? A few of those groups that were connected to them, and also not Memphis rap, but you know, some of that crazy like Master P shit, you know, in his label and everything, but probably not as deep as 3 6 Mafia, no. Outside of like doing some research into that shit for like reviews or like a Southern hip hop starter pack or something, but it's not like anything I grew up on, you know what I mean? Melon, Dr. Rondo says, it's your local physician and friend, Dr. Rondo. My question today is that if we set up a GoFundMe for that as the plan with a goal of 200K, could we get a few new videos? Love ya. Always, Bud. I guess if there's a GoFundMe with fucking 200K on it, it would be difficult to say no, but I'm not going to encourage it. How important is your mood when enjoying an album? Honestly, at this point, I wouldn't say it's that important. I mean, look, if I'm so in such a shitty fucking mood that listening that it's going to ruin a review of an album, I'm conscious of that going into it. And you know what I do? I do something else. I avoid listening to the album. I just go do some other shit. So, yeah, sure. Anybody's mood can be so bad that literally they're just not in the mood to listen to music. And when I'm into that mood, I don't, I just don't, especially if it's something I got to review. So yeah, it can be the case. And in those cases, I just stay away. Cluner, ow. Hey buddy, I'd be a bad friend if I didn't pay my friend to listen to my other friend's bit. Dude, you don't got to fucking do that. You don't got to do that. You've already hit me up on Twitter. I'm going to get to it eventually. Ow, ow. I'm going to get to you at some point. You don't got to worry about it. I'm going to hear the shit. You don't got to pay me to listen to your friend's shit. Are you kidding me, dude? I'll listen to your shit. I've just been really busy lately, and that's all it is. I listen to your shit. You've turned me on to some other people as well, that you send me shit. You don't got to pay me to listen to nothing. And you've already got my DMs. You don't got to ask me what size shirt I wear. Just hit me up on Twitter. Where do you think Yes, I'm a Witch would be in a Yoko Ono worst to best? Oh, I'm not even sure. I really have no idea because I've not heard the entire Yoko Ono discography, so I really can't even say. So Martin, I thank you for continuing to support and everything, but I'm not even like tangentially close to even having a conception for, frickin', what a Bjork, not a Bjork, a Yoko worst to best would even look like. So my last one disappeared. I apologize for that. I'll give you an ow. Are you going to do a North's Best Review by Lil Mosey? So I wasted another 10 because I love you. Also, free Bobby, thanks. I'm not even sure if I'm aware of who that person is. So I obviously cannot say yes at this point, having no clue. But I can take that recommendation and give it a shot and educate myself. If you had to listen to either the Carter 4 or Revival for Life, the Carter 4, the Carter fucking 4. What's the ow? I do the ow when somebody throws me at least $20. When somebody throws me $20, I do the ow. Or if, you have thrown me in total $20 because you're sending me multiple super chats. So, you get a little ow. Albert, let's argue. Tom DeLonge isn't crazy. He's woke as fuck. If you review my mixtape, I'll go vegan. Tom DeLonge is actually not as crazy as maybe some people or I thought he was, because even though he sounded like batshit insane in that Joe Rogan interview, there was like some government document that came out that actually showed that he's actually kind of he actually knows some of the people connected to all this UFO stuff, and maybe some of the claims that he's been making like aren't as far-fetched as he would, as some people would like to believe. He seems to at least be in the thick of this stuff, which I think there were some people out there who just didn't believe that was the case, and it seems like that's kind of been that's borne out to be true. Fantano, but you should go vegan anyway, bitch. Fantano since 2014. Fanthony since 2014. That's nice. Oh, I should call my fans Fanthonies. I highly recommend giving Semino. Yep, another shot. Yes, people have been asking me about that. New record is out. From what I understand, I will try to give it a shot. Sam, I will try to give it a shot. Or listen to Noir. Recently found an artist, Cautious Clay, recommend his EPs. One more thing. Listen to my friend's band, Farofa de Porco. It's a band that mixes hardcore metal, or heavy metal, in Brazilian genre called Foro. I'm not a fan of either genre, but this rock. Okay. That does intrigue me, I guess. Some heavy hard metal in Foro. Hey, Anthony, you mentioned Cap'n Jazz was the best emo band in a Let's Argue video. Would I do a classic review, considering your opinion? I was trolling a little bit when I said that, but I do think Cap'n Jazz is a lot better than a lot of some of these newer emo bands. But, if I were to do an emo classic review to just like do, like a super heavy, like significant emo classic review, I might sort of jump at a Sunny Day, Real Estate, or a Mineral album first, or maybe even like a Rites of Spring. Most Magnificent Melon. Tell us about your tattoos and their inspiration. I have music-inspired tattoos, and I understand if you don't want to answer, so on and so forth. Yeah, I mean, my tattoos, honestly, I keep pretty private how I feel about them or what the meaning is, because honestly, at the end of the day, all they mean, they only mean something to me. You know, if I go on here and I rant like, oh, this tattoo means this and this tattoo means that, all it's going to happen is I'm going to get a bunch of comments like, oh, look at this freaking homo over here. He's got fucking all these stupid fucking tattoos with all his tattoos look stupid and they look like fucking jail tattoos. When you're just not appreciating that that's my aesthetic, okay? Yeah, I have no interest in that. I love you guys, but honestly, when it comes to sharing all my tattoos with you and what they mean, no, not interested. Not interested. My girlfriend wants to know, how would you rate your thick butt? Also, is your wife single? Yeah, my wife is single. She's married to me, but she's single. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh shit, I just farted. That's awesome. That's epic. I think that's the first time I farted during a live stream. Where'd I get those sexy sunglasses, Melon? I got them on the internet at Zenny Optical. And there you go. I noticed you burp with confidence and rigor or vigor, that I noticed that I haven't noticed in other men. What is it about you that makes you so confident in your flatulence? Love you. Mostly because I just don't give a shit, and I think like burps are natural. So I mean, what are you gonna do? It's a burp. It's what are you gonna do, man? It's a burp. It comes out. It happens. Please say Ghost Town, Singularity Point, Hydrangea, Rhinoceros Beetle, Fig Tart, Secret Emperor, Giotto, Via Dolorosa, Spiritual Staircase. I hope that's not some kind of weird, like, fucking voodoo recitation that you just put me through and now I'm going to fucking die or some shit. But get that 10, man. Get that 10. I've noticed, you noticed the burps. Hey, Melon, missed my last super chat. I apologize for that. What's your opinion on Motion City soundtrack? Oh, they're okay. I never really got heavy into them back in the day. They just really kind of slipped through the cracks for me. They're one of the most underrated alt-rock bands, pop-punk bands, IMO. Yeah, I mean, maybe they are. But they back when I was younger, they never really stood out to me, honestly. Last comment deleted. Ephremenic Pissing Stars. Yeah, the album's okay. It didn't really stand out to me personally. It was just all right. Sometimes I don't review stuff because I don't have much to say about it because it doesn't really speak to me. You know what I mean? So, and that was definitely an example of that. I make music and have several albums on Spotify. Obv's nothing picking up though. How can I get my music out there? It's on Spotify. Is it on YouTube? Is it on SoundCloud? Is it on every single platform that it could potentially be on? And what are you doing to promote it? Are you adequately using social media? Have you made a music video? Are you putting out shit on a regular basis? Are you getting into rap beefs? Maybe you need to get into a rap beef. You know what I mean? Look, I mean, promotion is really tough right now because there's a lot of saturation out there, and you need to think about your album cover, the image of you, the iconography, and think about that in the respect of like in a marketing way. And how does that make you stand out? How does that make unique? How does that make you unique? Look up this dude who I just saw last night play live. His name is Oliver Tree. The dude's a fucking showman. Like, you see that dude live, he's totally decked out in the most ridiculous fucking everything. And his look, it instantly fucking sears itself into your head. And that's the kind of thing that you want to go for, to push your music, to market what you do. Also, memes are the future of music promotion too. Don't forget that. Name a worse fan base than Eminem people. Eminem people. Yeah, I don't want to start beef today. I don't want to start beef today. Been bumping Dope Throne and Dope Smoker, both great records, a lot lately in honor of my state, Michigan, legalizing the Jazz Cabbage. Classic review for either maybe. Thoughts on Electric Wizard's discog as a whole. Udabomb Nutty Montano. I mean, their discography is a little one-dimensional, but it's still pretty good. It's still pretty solid. They're like a high on fire. They do a certain thing and they do it pretty well. And that's just kind of is what it is. And ow! Hey, Melon, in your next review, can you open with Costany Sintano? Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't... Costany Sintano? I'm not seeing the appeal. You're not selling me on it, man. You're not selling me on it. Did I listen to the Revocation album that dropped earlier this year? I did, but I thought it just kind of sounded like a lot of everything else that they did. It didn't really speak to me. Also, what did I think of this? Wait, what would you think if the Smiths reformed only to drop a collaborative album with Bobby Shmurda titled "Me Is Shmurda"? I would pre-order 5 copies of that shit. I would pre-order 5 copies on vinyl. Did I hear about Ween covering Hey Ya by Outkast very drunkenly in Atlanta? No, I did not, but that is very funny and interesting to know. Why did I think the Ski Mask show was bad? I didn't think the show was all that good, mostly for the reason I didn't think any of the sets that night were good, and that was because, like, nobody was rapping. Like, everybody was just playing studio versions of their songs or other people's songs, and they were just, like, kind of occasionally rapping over them. There was, like, no structure or showmanship to really any of it. It was just a total mess. Let's see. Dude, she will kill me if I don't rate your thick butt. If you don't rate your thick butt. Also, pegging. Can't say I myself have engaged in any pegging. I need to rate my own thick butt. Honestly, I've been losing weight lately, so my butt is not as thick as it used to be. So my butt on a thickness rating, it's probably okay, but it's not peak thickness right now. I'm not working with peak thickness at the moment. So, maybe a 6, maybe a 5. It's sort of indifferent thickness, I guess. Can you get Todd in the shadows to unblock me on Twitter? Love what he does. Y'all need to collab. Also, where's the Adam Neely collab? I am going to be collaborating with another person from YouTube very soon. In early December. And then after that, I'll try to make some sort of plan to do with the Adam Neely collab. We had plans to get together, but then some other stuff came up for him. And, once I get this collaboration out of the way that I have coming up in December, then I'll try to focus on doing an Adam Neely one. And Todd, I don't know if I can get him to unblock you on Twitter, but I'm not even sure where that dude is. Like, is he anywhere near me to sort of make a collaboration happen? I'm not sure. Do you know Who You Are by Texas is the reason the best emo album? Yes. My monitor won't turn on for my PS4. The HDMI is connected. I don't know what's wrong. Help. Have you tried throwing it out the window? Try throwing it out the window. Have I heard of Susumu Yokota? No, I have not, Albert. Ow! I'll give you a little ow for coming back again. But I'll just have to see what's all the hubbub with that. Triskull. Hot take: Star-Lord is the most entry level of his respective genre. I kind of agree. He has none of the flair that the underground provides, and knowing his YouTube background, it feels very fabricated. Yeah, I feel like a lot of his aesthetic really kind of comes down to how good his look and his music videos are, honestly. Like, once you've heard 5 Star-Lord songs, I feel like you've pretty much heard all the Star-Lord songs, which is unfortunate to say because I feel like when I was initially introduced to his stuff, there was like so much great potential and it was pretty exciting. It was pretty hard hitting, but unfortunately, I think he's kind of one-dimensional. Connor, have I listened to the new Bob Dylan bootleg More Blood, More Tracks? I have not. If so, has it changed your experience listening to Blood on the Tracks? No, I've not heard it. Though I am vaguely interested in that. So, maybe I'll make some time for it. Avery De La Cruz. Ow! I've been vegan for 2 months after experimenting with vegetarianism for the last couple of years since watching your old That Is the Plan vegan videos in 2015. Just thought I'd share. Thanks for spreading the good word, Chief. Yeah, I do need to work on a new It's Food. I'm going to get together with my significant other and make sure that happens at some point. What are your top 5 favorite memes of all time, and what are your top 5 or least favorite memes of all? Millhouse is not a meme. It's one of my favorite memes. Also, recently I have loved that Johnny Johnny Yes Papa remix meme. Just the other day I was telling, just yesterday I was telling my cousin how much I loved all the Simpsons, Seymour Skinner, Steamed Hams remixes. I enjoy quite a few of those remixes. Trying to think of some other dank memes that I really love or loved. All the memes that I loved, the memes that were my life. Ooh, ooh, the memes of my life. I also love the progressively more dense text meme where the picture just gets shittier and shittier and shittier. That meme I think is really good. I think what people have been doing with Lost lately is really funny. So, or I think that kind of has died off though. Honestly, I don't keep a meme list because I think to love memes that much, a part of me would want to die. Have I ever, Mark asks, ow, have you been asked to come over to Glastonbury for a Q&A? There is a massive fan base in the UK. I'm struggling for the interaction with the future, especially considering yes, I would definitely consider it. I am working with a booking agent who has booked me a West Coast tour in the spring. After that, I'm obviously going to want to put another short tour together, and there could definitely be like a short UK or Euro tour at some point. You just have to kind of give me time to get over there because I can't stop everything I'm doing all the time. You'll Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack. Classic review when? Tomorrow. It's coming out tomorrow. It's a 10 out of 10 million. Could I explain the appeal of Tonetta? He seems a little dated after his hype died down. Yeah, honestly, I think Tonetta is a little out of ideas at this point, but I do think his 3 compilation records are really good and really solid. It's just some good, crazy lo-fi music made by a total madman who likes to fly his freak flag. That's how it appeals to me, personally. What do I think of lo-fi hip-hop scene that expanded on YouTube? I think it's pretty neat. I've been meaning to sort of do an interview with at least a couple of people from that scene. But I actually think it's pretty interesting. Like, sure, like maybe it's a little one-dimensional, but I think it's this generation sort of coming up with their own ambient music in a way. What feels ambient and chill and relaxing to them on their own terms. What do I think Absol needs to do to improve and get a 9 or a 10? Honestly, like, he's already come out with a great record. Control System is great, man. Like, his follow-up project to that was just a mess. The pop rap tracks were awful. The concept he was trying to go on was convoluted and just didn't land at all. Like, if you're going to have a concept, nail it. If you're going to come out with pop rap tracks, actually make sure they sound good, or, actually deliver to your audience the type of shit that I guess they expect from you in terms of like more lyrical or more thoughtful, bars, I guess. It's been a shame that Absol's kind of fell off the map a little bit, but I hope he comes back with a good project. Also here to say Anderson .Paak will change the sonic landscape of R&B. I hope so. Dude is a talent. Hey, Anthony, big fan, was curious, what are your thoughts on Elvis Costello? I mean, My Aim Is True is a great record. He came out with a lot of great shit in the 80s. I don't really keep up with his newest stuff, though. But generally, he's a good songwriter. He's a good dude. And is it the music itself from Dark Side of the Moon that you don't... Okay, look, I like Dark Side of the Moon. I just think it's a little overhyped. I think Pink Floyd has put out better records. That's all. I think Animals is a more interesting record. I think The Wall is a more interesting record. I just think they have more interesting stuff. I don't hate Dark Side of the Moon. I really don't. It's a meme at this point. It's a fucking meme. Have you ever thought about doing a Mr. Thug Isolation review? Yeah, that is a record that unfortunately I do kind of regret having not covered it. I don't know if I'll sort of consider doing a retrospective review of it or anything, but I do regret having not formally covered that record at the time when it was relevant. The stream has me cracking up so hard I couldn't ask for better content, so thanks to the fans for the pervy questions. Tell me about any lady posters you had on your wall as a Yummy 10, please. Honestly, like, when I was a kid and I was growing up, I didn't have any like bikini posters on my wall or whatever. I wasn't really that type. Though I had just like metal and rock posters all over my walls. I did have a poster for that new metal band from back in the day, Kitty, and I thought the bassist from that band was pretty cute at the time. But honestly, I didn't have like, bikini posters and stuff. I just had like, rock and metal posters and stuff and rapper posters and that sort of thing. I will be going to a MGMT concert very soon. However, the process of to get the ticket is being frustrating. What is one of your worst experiences buying a ticket for a concert? Worst concert experience? I've spoken about some bad concert experiences before, but honestly, I haven't had a really bad like ticket buying experience before. Ticketmaster and like, these friggin' money grubbing Live Nation type corporations can be a real pain in the ass. And it seems like there are even more walls in front of you when you're actually like trying to buy a ticket for something that's really expensive or the artist is mega popular. Fortunately, I haven't had that many bad experiences as far as like buying a ticket. Just cross, just for luck. Hopefully I don't have a bad one anytime soon. What's my opinion on Wicca Phase Springs Eternal? He's one of my favorites, mostly for his unique. I'm not even on whatever fucking level of music magic that you're on, Cheyenne. I will just have to check this out for myself at a later date. I cannot comment. I am not worthy. But thank you for the recommendation. Also, who do I think would be good picks for the next Double XL? They got to get JPEG Mafia on that shit, is what they got to do. Zillakami could be cool, but definitely JPEG. And Check Wes. Am I going to review the new Eli Kessler album? It's real good. I'll tell you how it. I haven't heard it, so I can't say. It's not on my plate or anything. I'm not anticipating it. So, I guess we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. If I give it a try and I don't really care for it, I might just throw it out the window. Thoughts and scores on D'Angelo's first two albums. I'd give Voodoo at least an 8. But honestly, I don't think I've listened to D'Angelo's albums enough times, the first album enough times to score it, so I can't say. Hey, Anthony, love your work. Keep it up. Proud of you. Also, serious question. Please don't judge. What are your top 10 Coldplay songs? Off the top of my head, I cannot. Widows, I cannot right now. At the tail end of the stream, with 10 minutes left, and with me not enjoying a great deal of Coldplay's discography, this is a no-no. I do enjoy X and Y more than maybe some people would assume I would. But this is not a question for burnt out 2 hours into the stream, Anthony. Honestly. As I haven't even I do enjoy that record. I do enjoy quite a bit of Viva, but honestly, I haven't even listened to a Coldplay record. I haven't listened to those two records in years, like all the way through. I haven't listened to those records in a long time. I really haven't, which I guess is kind of a testament to just how little time I have to sort of listen to shit, listen back to shit sometimes, outside of the context of like a review or whatever. What do I think of PewDiePie's T-Series diss track? It's kind of cringy. It's not that good. Only doing this for the sample. Only doing this for the sample. Only doing this for the sample. Hunter Hartman. Have fun. Is a Pink Floyd worst to best on the way? No, I'm not currently working on one, though I might think about it. Favorite Atmosphere album? I mean, I think God, is his best. And thanks for recommending the new Poppy. Can't stop listening to it. Good. I'm glad you like it. King Crimson is the most underrated band of the 60s and 70s. They were one of the first ones to bring progressive rock into the mainstream with their debut and influenced bands like Tool. Agree? No, King Crimson is not underrated at all. Everybody fucking loves King Crimson. If anybody says anything about progressive rock, King Crimson is instantly the first or second band that comes up. It's either King Crimson, Pink Floyd, or Rush that come up first. So, I mean, King Crimson is not overrated at all. People love King Crimson. They are not only discussed in any progressive rock conversation ever, but, most rock conversations too, people love King Crimson. And the debut album, that's an iconic album and album cover. People know that record. It's not an underrated album at all. People fucking love that record. It's a great record. And people know it's great. Are we getting a review of that League of Legends K-pop song? No. Maybe I might talk about it in the weekly tracks. We'll see. Opinion on Cold Heart or anyone from GBC. I've been listening to a lot from them other than just a Lil Peep recently. Yeah, the Goth Boy clip, a lot of them don't really do all that much for me. No plans on doing any Goth Boy clip reviews at the moment. Do you judge your friends and boyfriends on their music taste? Be honest. Also, could you give the mic another kiss because I'm a sad girl? Honestly, music taste to me, whether or not it's good or bad, doesn't really depend as much on what you like. Like, hey, let's say you really love Nickelback or whatever, and I don't really like Nickelback and I think they suck. Just as an example, To me, it's not really about what you like about it's not as much about what you like as much as it is about what are you willing to try or listen to. Are you open to other things? Do you have a variety of things that you enjoy? Listen, you could be this hardcore Neutral Milk Hotel fan and, which is a band I love, right? But let's say, you love Neutral Milk Hotel, I love Neutral Milk Hotel, but all you fucking listen to is indie rock and indie folk. Honestly, your taste sucks. Because if you're so fucking closed off that all you listen to is indie rock and indie folk, and that's all you fucking listen to, and that's all you fucking care about, even though there are a lot of indie rock and indie folk records that I love, that's sucky taste. That's sucky taste. That taste sucks. Because all you do is just listen to one fucking thing. And that's boring. Have I heard about Sirius Klein before? He is a German Ghanaian rapper who raps in English, has gotten cosigns from Def Jam and so on and so forth. No, not at all. I'll just have to take that recommendation and see what's up. This is a tough question, but what do you think a good Imagine Dragons song would sound like? Quiet. A good Imagine Dragons song would sound quiet. Would sound real quiet. Dude, that was a burn. That was a fucking burn. Ding, ding, ding. Hi, King. Would I agree that stoner rock is a bad genre name? I think it's a rather conventional and accessible rock genre. Yeah, maybe it's not that great for the marketing, but simultaneously, the community of people that care about it kind of signals to them, hey, you want to listen to this. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's probably got its downsides and its upsides. What is your opinion on E40 as an artist? I mean, he's pretty slick and catchy. I've never really loved any of his albums personally, but he's got a lot of personality. He pops on the mic. Parts of his discography you enjoy. I mean, his 2000s stuff is definitely his best, like the stuff he was putting out back when I was in college. But, he's not one of my favorites personally, but I do love that he's still like kind of at it. People still love the guy. He still projects really well. And, when he's featuring with a younger artist. So, good on him. I respect the dude, and I was heartbroken the day that he admitted the glasses were fake. I was heartbroken. View on Temperex. I'm not even familiar with who that is. I think that's like the fifth artist you've thrown at me tonight that I have no fucking clue who they are. You cheeky melon. Would I rather listen loudly in your car with a lot of people around to Little Xan's full album or Disturbed's Down with the Sickness, but only the mental breakdown part for 10 minutes? Oh, I would love to be in a car with like 5 other people and listening to the mental breakdown part of that record on loop. I would fucking die. I am John. Ow! Just wanted to say hi and thanks for being the best mofo on BoobTube. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I'll give you another ow for being nice. Avant-garde music starter pack sometime in the near future. I mean, I enjoy some of it, but it's also another genre that I kind of suck at. Also, loved your bullying other YouTubers videos back in the day. Those are actually some of my favorite videos on YouTube, period. YouTubers are there any YouTubers you would bully if they crossed your path? Yeah, if I saw Paul Joseph Watson, I'd go, hey, Paul! Hey, Paul! I'd probably call out Paul. I'd shout at Paul from down the road. And Pyrocynical, I'd bully that motherfucker too. And you could tell him that. You could if anybody's recording this right now, you can record this part or you can tell him what's up. You could say, hey, Pyrocynical, if I ever saw you on the street, I'd bully your ass. I'd bully your fucking ass for bullying all those poor little TikTok kids. Okay? Put that in your new video, dickhead. Put that in your new video. I'd bully your ass. I'd bully you to the ground. Avant-garde music starter pack. La, la, la. Yeah, I did answer that. That has been answered. Ever listen to The Algorithm? Yes, I have, I believe, and they sound maybe a little too algorithmic, in my opinion. But also, my girlfriend thinks she saw you at the Hobo Johnson show last night. Yes, I was at the Hobo Johnson show last night. I had a good time. I hope you and your girlfriend had a good time too, or just your girlfriend if she went by herself. Have I ever saved a lady from a bad man? If so, could I share the story? Oh my God, I don't even want to fucking tell this story. Okay. I'll get back to it, but I legitimately have a story about that. Hi, just had to evac from the fires. I live near the borderline bar shooting. Oh my God, that's terrible. How would I rate the Black Flag singers from worst to best? Um, I think Rollins was the best, but after Rollins, I wouldn't really put much stock in it. Obviously, like, some of the pre-Rollins tracks are fucking amazing. Like Nervous Breakdown, that whole EP is fucking amazing. But I mean, after Rollins, I'm not really that excited about any post-Rollins Black Flag singers. Hey, Melon, I just wanted to let you know I got a new track out on my channel and all streaming platforms. Okay, DJ October. I'll give that a peep later. I'll see what's up later. Hope you're doing well, dude. Wicca Phase Springs Eternal from GBC is an Adam. Oh, okay. From Tiger Jaw. Oh, okay. Interesting. Unique sound. Love the channel. P.S. I had to look up if Joe Rogan died. Joe Rogan is not dead, guys. It's just a live stream meme that we do. It's just a little live stream meme. It's a little live stream goof. Joe Rogan, he's not dead. But having said that, rest in peace, Joe Rogan. Rest in peace. Could I rank Weezer's discography? Also, have I listened to songs from the Black Hole? And if so, should they have released it instead of Pinkerton? I haven't. But could I rank Weezer's discography off the top of my head? I mean, I would put Blue, Pinkerton, and Green at the top. I might put White over Green. Make Believe and their latest record would be way down low in like the trash bin. And that's kind of like a vague, and everything else might land somewhere in the middle. It's kind of like a vague ranking, I guess. Young Sheck Wes and I'm Getting Really Rich, Ching Ching. See how I caught it cause I'm really with the shits, bang bang. See me in the streets and I. That's a good idea. If there's any crazy shit you would love to see me say that isn't painfully offensive, I will consider it, I guess, and repeat it. What do you think will be better, Oxnard or DiCaprio 2? Probably Oxnard. Can you rate the Call of Duty World at War soundtrack right now? Insta review. I haven't even played that fucking game, bro. I haven't even played that fucking game. I haven't been deep into first person shooters since fucking GoldenEye. Mia Khalifa TikTok video review when? Oh, it's a 10 out of 10, bro. It's a 10 out of fucking 10. Also, best obscure music YouTubers. My favorite new music YouTuber at the moment is Finn McKenty. But he does like a lot of weird industry stuff. He's not necessarily doing reviews or anything like that. He does like cool like retrospectives on scenes and like the pop punk and new metal shit and like hardcore and deathcore and all that stuff. He seems like a really cool industry dude. Okay, so let me. We're toward the end of the stream, guys. So I'm going to tell that story that someone was asking about earlier about if there was ever a time I saved a girl from a bad man, and then call it a day. When I was a kid, me and my mom and my brother lived in this fucking awful, like garbage apartment complex. Where there were kids who I was friends with there, and we were all cool and we were all chill, but there were kids there, their moms were like on fucking heroin and shit, and we like had some roaches and shit in the place where we were living, and toward the end of when we were actually able to like move out of there, and we had like this weird thing in the apartment where we would occasionally get like bats, like a bat or two. Like we think there was like some kind of like access. We were on the top floor of the building, and we think there was like some kind of access to our apartment from like, I don't know, some kind of like upper area or something where the bats could get through. So we were like routinely like getting bats in the apartment as well. Let me bring that screen back up. Sorry about that. So we were occasionally like getting bats every once in a while in the apartment as well, but I digress. But there were like some real fucking dirtbag assholes at that apartment complex. And I remember when I was like the tender age of, it had to be like 10 or 11, like at the most. I was in the building. I was about to go outside and probably go like meet up with a friend, go hang out with a friend. But then I did not step out of the building because what was in front of me through the window of the door was this dude fucking grabbing hard and aggressively and violently onto this woman. And, they both looked to be like about maybe in their 20s or something. And fucking grabbing this lady, grabbing her clothes like he was going to rip them off, or fucking, trying to grab her like he was going to wring her neck or grab her shoulders or hold her down or pull her somewhere or something. And she ended up like getting away from him. And she started just like running toward, I was a kid. What the fuck am I going to do? I wasn't going to run out there and fucking, I was a kid. I had my fair share of like, adults giving me spankings or like, fucking in Italian culture, we call them polyabs for being a fucking, moron or a kid who's fucking speaking out of turn or whatever. So I didn't want to go out there and just like get beat up by a fucking adult. But still, she got away from him and then started running toward the building I was in. And I can't remember. I think we had like how did she get into the building? It was a key card or something. Or was that technology around? I think she like buzzed somebody who she knew, or hit the buzz button, or what? I'm being such a fucking idiot. I let her through the door. I don't know why I'm being a fucking moron. So she was running toward me, and I was in the building, and she got ahead of the guy, and she was just like, trying to shake the fucking thing, and she's like, no, let me in, and obviously I'm a kid. I don't fully understand what the fuck is going on in front of me, but I knew well enough that she's trying to get away from this guy, and he's like, coming up from behind. And so I just let her in the door, and she just like kind of runs upstairs and she looks back and she sees that, the guy can't get in the door. And, she sort of looks at me for a second because she's wondering if like I'm being a stupid kid and I'm going to let his ass in, and of course, like I knew enough not to do that because the guy looked like a fucking freakazoid. And, he was like banging on the fucking window and he was like, shaking the handle and he was looking at me. He's like, let me in here, kid. Let me the fuck in here, kid. Come on, man. Do me this favor, please. He was like, I saw him being like this brutal fucking monster just a second ago. And then right there as he was trying to like coax me into letting him into the building, he was like, he just turned on the nice guy, and he was like, oh, come on, man. Let me in, man. Just do me this favor, dude. He was probably like offering to do something for me. He probably said like some generic shit like, oh, I'll give you candy or some bullshit like that. But yeah, that was probably like, the time when I was a child and had to open a door for a woman who was probably going to get fucking beat up by this guy. Honestly, was probably going to get fucking beat up. One time I had another experience as well where, we couldn't really do anything about it at the time because she insisted that we not do anything about it. But I was in college and a girlfriend of mine and I at the time, we were driving, I think back from the college campus over to my place. And we were just driving and it was like maybe midnight or something. And this girl just stumbled out in the middle of the street. And she just, she looked like she was an extra in a fucking horror movie because the way she stumbled out into the road. It was like something out of a movie. She just stumbled out into the road and, it was just like waving the car down like we got to save her. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? This is like something out of a monster movie. Is there going to be like some kind of beast that comes out of the shadows that kills everybody in the car or something? So, we just stopped the car and we let her in the car and she literally, it was a 2-door car and it only took her a second to just leap into the back seat. And, we just closed the door and we went and she was just crying and sobbing and she got beat up. Her boyfriend beat her up and she just asked us to drive her to like her mom's place across town. And, we asked her like, hey, can we call anybody or do anything for you or whatever? And at the time, she was just like, oh, no, please don't call the cops. It's, going to create a situation for me and so on and so forth. So, we helped the girl, we drove her to where she wanted to go, but there wasn't really anything else that we could do for her at the time, you know, my girlfriend and I at the time, and you know, so, and unfortunately, you know, there's only so much you can do in some of those situations, but, you know, that certainly left an impact on me in terms of like, you know, the experience of abuse that some people can have and the way it can change your life and the way you can feel trapped in those situations. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Those are my two stories connected to that topic, I guess, that was probably way heavier than anybody was anticipating me to get in this friggin' talk. Yeah, so somebody's this $300 one. I did this one. This one's been done. Do I ever feel that you can never make original music under your own name because of the conflict of interest? Yeah, there'd definitely be a conflict of interest, which I would like to avoid if I ever were to do that. But excuse me, 2 times, 3 times, double up. Excuse me, guys. I'm gonna see if really quickly there's anything that earlier on the stream I missed big time as far as like an early question or something. Oh, frig you. What the frig? Here we go. There we go. This is what the hell is going on here? This is there we go. That's stupid and miserable. Have you ever listened to music from him? Yes, I actually remember him being really popular in college and I hated it. I thought it was terrible. I apologize if that's disappointing, but I've always thought him was kind of bad and really fucking overrated. All right, let me see if there are any ones, like big ones that I missed over here. What's the best way to collect vinyl on a budget? Pro tip, you fucking can't, because vinyl prices are up the fucking ass right now because everybody wants that shit. So your hope of getting cheap vinyl, even used shit these days, is fucking low. If you want to get into vinyl now, get ready to pay out the ass, dude. That's my advice on collecting vinyls on the cheap. Here's my advice on collecting vinyls on the cheap. Don't. I still love you, though, David. Ephremenic pissing stars on the year-end list? No, as I didn't really care for it. Investigate 311? Yeah, I agree. I think so. Joshua, thank you, if I didn't say that already. Opinion on OST Undertale, Deltarune? I haven't played either game because I'm a fucking loser, so I can't even say. Do I think lyricism will come back in the 2020s? No, it will not. That's my prediction. It ain't gonna come back. Devil's Plan. How does it feel to hoe yourself out like this for $10 a pop, having trouble getting the funds to buy a new vinyl setup? Maybe you're putting a ring on your woman. Been a fan since 2010. Thank you. Yeah, I feel like really good being a total slut. You know, it feels good to be a whore. I'm a total whore for you guys, and it turns me on. I like being used by all you guys to do reviews for you. It's so sexy. Thoughts on Howlin' Wolf? He's a classic, but I don't care for his songs as much as I do his voice. And Sunhouse is pretty good. Earlier question about Led Zeppelin, please look. I'm sorry I missed the song about Led Zeppelin. I don't even know where the hell it is. I guess I missed it 10 times. Going. What are some names that you were pretty close to giving 10s? I would say Onda Tropica and Against All Logic, I think, are pretty close to 10s. Also, Vector's Black Future and Ice Age's Plowing the Fields. Hey, cool channel. Thoughts on Coheed and Cambria? I cannot get into the vocals. I know that's a basic ass bitch, Coheed and Cambria. I don't like them opinion, but I really truly cannot. And also, are there any 10s that I've given that I really regret right now? Not really. Give me 5 more years, though. We'll see. Top 5 concept albums? I don't know. T-Pab's probably up there in my opinion. Maybe. What the hell did you do to get your... where the hell did I get my glasses? Zenny Optical, bitch. They should endorse my ass. I've been saying this shit so much. You don't seem to be big on much modern prog metal. Gojira's Magma, yeah, not really. The Contortionists, yeah, not really. And Between the Buried and Me, yeah, they're 2 new albums I thought were boring. It is a genre thing. I mean, not necessarily. I think the new Polyphia record is kind of progressive, you know, and it's kind of metal-ish, metal and math rock-ish. I just think a lot of new prog metal bands are boring as shit, you know. The guitars are bland, the vocals are bland, the song ideas are uninteresting. You know, I'm sure there are some out there that I really like, and there's some progressive, sort of more grimy underground metal bands that are kind of crazy, that I think are amazing. But a lot of these, you know, cleaner, more pop-centric pop metal groups, prog metal groups, you know, because I do see Between the Buried and Me as having a very accessible sound. They just bore me. They just really, truly do. What's my opinion on modern battle rap? There was a moment when I was following it a little intently, I think a year or two ago, but I haven't really been following it over the past year or so. And someone asked me if I like the new Matt Ox. No, the Matt Ox is boring as shit. Do I plan on reviewing Pieces of a Man? You know, I thought it was better than Mick Jenkins' last full-length LP, but it was just way too casual, structureless, and all over the friggin' place, and impromptu to really kind of sink my teeth into it. You know, again, better than his last record, but nowhere near as classic or as focused as The Waters. Why do I hardly review electronic music? I mean, I guess I just don't. I have no answer for this. It's because I probably should not be the one reviewing it all the time. If you have an issue with how little electronic music I review, that is honestly a signal that you should start reviewing electronic music. If you are frustrated with me not reviewing enough electronic music, please take it upon yourself to review more electronic music. What's my take on house and techno? I mean, I like it generally, you know, but as the previous person was just saying, I guess I don't review enough of it. Hey, I don't really check out or mention. Yeah, I did that. Yep. Thoughts on BEP without Fergie? Yeah, the new record is better than most of the garbage the group has been putting out for the past decade or so, but you know, or rather the previous decade, but it's still not that great. All right, I think I'm just gonna have to leave it at that. Chester Watson is not as interesting as some people think he is, in my opinion. All right, guys, thank you very much for being here and being cool and doing this live stream and making it nice and making it sexy and making it feel good and being a good audience. And, you know, look forward to not next week, but the week after that, when I will hit you up in yet another of these sort of bi-weekly-ish Q&A live streams. And hope you have a good one. Hug your loved ones. Stay safe. Drink plenty of water. Go vegan. And rest in peace to the man, the myth, the legend, the greatest to ever do it, Joe Rogan. Forever.